Dishsoap could
Wait,
be top 10 in
wasn't
his
there
sleep.
like a LP karma as well, or am I wrong about that? It wasn't. Don't you have to be
It's
like
also
two
been Challenger, I believe.
challenger?
Yeah, probably.
I think you can do it, Dishsoap. I believe in you.
Yeah, Dishsoap, I
Yeah.
believe
If
in
you
you,
don't,
buddy.
if you're struggling, I
Thanks,
know a
guys.
good
Yes.
website that can help you, buddy.
Yeah, if you work really hard, you'll make it to Worlds next set for sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Don't Talk If You Don't Know, the unofficial official podcast dedicated to all things high-level North American teamfight tactics, and also the Americas region, but that's a little bit tangentially related. Today is a special day. It's July 21st or 24th. Wow, I made this mistake twice on social media and on the show. July 24th, 2024, and this is the Set 11 Inkborn Fables Wrapped episode, where it's a summary of the entire set, but also the final rankings, definitive end to Set 11. And it is a tradition that we do to kind of reflect, because we're always so busy with previewing and reflecting, or rather previewing and looking forward to other competitive events. But it's fun to be back and to chat with my co-host, as always, is Bryce Eastbers-Blum. Bryce, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, these episodes are always different and very fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. We also have two special guests. You may have recognized them from if you ever pay attention to competitive TFT.
Yeah, you may have recognized them if you are here. You recognize them.
That's right. The first guest that we have back for the first time in a while is Mismatched Socks, or do you just go by Socks these days?
I think I go with I guess I prefer my username be the full thing, but they always shorten it, and then like the Torny admins, they took it and they shortened it the first time, and then ever since then it's been shortened. So I was like, you know what, who cares? Like at this point, let's just keep it shortened. Also makes it easier for people to invite me and stuff.
Okay,
I think
got it.
Socks is good for whatever, short and sweet.
Okay, well, welcome Mismatched Socks. I'll try to say that as many times as I can to kind of get that branding going through. Socks.
No, just the Socks. I think Socks is good.
Just Socks? Okay. It used to be BC Socks as well, but you're not on the East Coast anymore, right?
Yeah, so I was dropped at the start of this year. I mean, partially because, I haven't really been streaming also with the family, and I couldn't really dedicate that much time to TFT or making content and stuff, so it was just too much.
Okay. But you are back. You had a wonderful set, and we're going to talk to you in a little bit about that more, but we also have the reigning champion. It is the perfect player himself, live in the flesh. It is Dishsoap. What's up, Dishsoap?
Hello.
How you doing?
I mean, I guess I'm doing great. Definitely feels good to join the podcast on these terms. So yeah.
Hell yeah. I think if memory serves, the last time we had you on like back to back, basically, and the end of it, I was like, well, we're not going to see you for a little while unless you go win Worlds. So can you win Worlds, and then we'll have you back on? So here we go.
Yeah. I mean, definitely feels good.
Okay, so let's just talk about that moment. We're going to obviously go through it as well, but what have you been up to since then? Did you take time off? Did you dive back into TFT? How did you celebrate?
I didn't really like celebrate in a particular way. I've just been like spending more time with my family because like I don't know, I was kind of neglecting them, talking to them, prepping TFT this long. I felt like I kind of had to like talk to them and like hang around with them for a bit.
Are they proud? Were they watching? Rooting?
Yeah, for sure.
So who's included? Do you have brothers and sisters, parents? Like, who's all watching?
My parents were watching, and like most of my like extended family was watching as well. I think
Cool.
my dad like showed them that, but like I don't know. I got some like congratulatory messages from like my aunts and uncles in Twitch chat. I didn't even know they had Twitch accounts. But I noticed that when I was winning, it was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Wait, so they were in your chat, congratulating you, and how did you know it was them? Do you know their usernames, or they use like their real names?
They were like congratulations from like aunt whatever in chat.
Oh, they were saying in their message.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
and they're actually like doing a family reunion up in New York right now, but I couldn't really go with like the idiocy timing. So
got it. You gotta win set 12 worlds again then, so that way you can thank them.
I'm definitely gonna try to go for the back-to-back since
you gotta go for the back. And you're already guaranteed the world spot, so the investment is like super worth it, right? Like you get the shot, which is really nice.
Yeah, 100%. You talked about how motivated you were at the start of the set. Can you elaborate once again, just like what exactly spiked it? Because you had finally made Worlds at set 10, and it wasn't, obviously you didn't win it compared to this time, but you still made it, and then you actually went double bound and said that you were more motivated than ever before. What exactly happened?
It's probably fine to talk about it, but a lot of it came from like the EWC team formation stuff. Don't have to get too much into it,
Oh,
but
okay.
the gist of it is, I got dropped from my vitality for Soju, and I got kind of, I mean, that kind of motivated me. Is what I'll say.
Fucking love that. TFT
Yeah.
we need a little bit of this
wow.
shit. Soap, I'm very, good for you. I get why you kept it secret, but it would have been awesome if you'd been like, yo, you guys dropped me, big fucking mistake, huge, and then just went on and win Worlds.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately we got to beat them in EWC to like actually.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that rivalry is, I did not realize how, I mean, I knew that match, if it happens, would be good, but this got really good now.
That's great. And if they weren't going to scrim us before, they're definitely not going to scrim us now.
Well, I mean, I'm still on like pretty good terms with most of them. I understand the decision they had to make, and I'm not like against any of them as like people. Like
Yeah.
there's no actual drama, but like that happens to you, and that you're definitely going to be like a little bit upset about it, and you're definitely going to be motivated. So
Okay, do you want to talk some shit? Are you guys going to stomp them at EWC? Is this even going to be close?
I mean, that's the plan.
That's the plan. That's the
We're
plan.
ramping it up, and I mean, I was listening to their call earlier, and they're playing like Hearthstone, so we'll see what happens.
They're playing a lot of Hearthstone. They play. They're playing. They're doing like the minimum amount of PB that they feel like is necessary, but they're like also trying actively not to like sweat. Like they're trying, but they're not trying that hard. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic. We'll see. People are going to boot camp though. I believe Toronto Ultra are actually going tomorrow. Dishsoap and Fnatic are going to be going this weekend. I'll be there next week, and then I think Vitality and all of them are leaving next week. So, okay. Anyways, Socks, talk to us about your journey as well. We don't want to kind of leave you on the island. Obviously, we're celebrating Dishsoap's win, but you also had one hell of a set. Arguably, before Dishsoap won the World Championship, we're going to say like one of the top runs in North American history. And then, because you had like a really big surgence late, doing well in the Tactician Sub 3 into regionals and heading into Worlds, and you were doing well in Worlds. Can you just like talk to me about that journey as well? Did you get a surgence of motivation? Is it just a hot streak? Are you just like lucky this sets? Like what's going on?
I mean, I'm sure partially it's luck, but like after the first two tournaments, actually, my wife gave me a lot of time to set. She helped out a lot because usually before tournaments and stuff, I still have to take the kids. I still have to work. But this set, I don't know why she really believed in me. I was the point leader in Cup 1 and 2 after Dishsoap. Sorry, I was like top 5 in points. Dishsoap being first. But then after the first day, I thought maybe I have a chance, and so like my wife actually took the kids a lot, and I had a lot of motivation to actually compete. Usually, I don't really care that much, whether I do well or not, doesn't really matter. But this set, I was very, very motivated to do well.
Where did that come
And so the
from?
motivation.
Did Soju drop you too?
I mean, let me think. Have I talked to Soju? Maybe he has. I'm not sure. Let me go back.
Okay, but where did your motivation come from, Socks? Like, why was the set different?
I mean, I did. I was overall, high in points, and then once Dishsoap actually died in day one, I was like, oh shit, I have a real chance. So like day one, I barely squeaked by, and then day three, I had to bring my A game, and so I just brought my A game, right? So part of it is like if I'm not motivated to do well, I'll like maybe try the bare minimum, but like if I see a opportunity and like I actually like I'm super motivated to try, I'll actually do really well.
It sounds like
And
what you're
towards
saying is you weren't very motivated early, but then you had done so well early that you were like, oh, this is like I got a really good chance of like qualifying for Worlds. This feels worth it to me. Like I'm very close, and that there's a little bit of variance to that. So let me just see if I can actually capitalize and make the most of it.
yeah, I definitely think so. Like a lot of it is just for me, it's motivation driven. So
Okay. Well, let's talk about that a little bit more in depth. But as per usual, we always start off with kind of like relevant news and anything that's kind of happened. The main news that everyone's focused on, of course, is set 12. And I guess what I want to ask is, how much Set 12 have you guys been playing? And how do you like it so far? What are some of your first impressions? So let's start off with Dishsoap. I know you've been playing.
Yeah, I've played a decent amount. Maybe not like as much as like all the perma grinders, but like probably less than like I've played for most other PBs just because I took like the first few days off. But I don't know. I have that's fine. I really like how the trait webs feel right now. My opinion might change with that once they get optimized, as they usually do. But right now it's feeling pretty good. But I have like a lot of issues with like early and late game charms right now, like the whole mechanic. And I've like brought up my issues to Riot. If they think it's an issue, they might change it. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, but say it out loud. I'm genuinely curious.
Oh, I think the early game ones, like the stage ones are like super swingy, especially the one you get on 2-1. Like you can just get Crystal Ball, show your next opponent, and then someone can get like effectively like 2 gold worth of value. They can even get like the high roll chance, like Recon Bob into like a good 2-star 2 cost, or like get like 2 rolls off of Major Wish, and you can get Crystal Ball, which does nothing. But that's like kind of minor. That's like arguing for like 5 versus 6 gold opener kind of thing.
But that actually is significant.
No, it is. But like Riot like thinks it's like really minor in the grand scheme of things. But then on like stage 5 and stage 6, like you're probably not winning a round without a combat charm unless your board is just like way better than the other board, and it's like kind of hard to guarantee a good combo charm without like completely griefing your money. So if you're like in a low roll spot, you're rolling an 8, like you're probably never going 9. You're probably just donkey rolling for a good combo charm at 8 for like the rest of the game, late game. And then the Xerath charms are just kind of crazy. And then there's also like Desperate Plea, which just like gives you a free life. If you survive 10 seconds now, they changed it. I think they should just remove it completely. But then there's stuff like Elder Dragon, which basically wins the round anyways, because that thing just does 8k damage and is, yeah, I don't know. There's just so much like late game fight swing variance. Like it is really not enjoyable to play the late game in Set 12 right now. But yeah,
what do you think, Socks? Have you tried it at all?
I mean, I'm gonna preface this with I think I have like 8 games. I barely recognize the units. But I definitely feel exactly what Dishsoap's saying. You know, everything he said has been completely true on the spot, on the dot. But the thing is, I'm actually a big believer in this charms mechanic. I think the implementation is not very well done. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think charms as a mechanic is like super good. I think they just need to expand that. Hearthstone Battlegrounds has like a great version of like charms. They call it spells.
Yeah.
And like Super Autopaths has charms. All these games that I play have like variations of charms that are super well done. And TFT, unfortunately, I think misses the market a little bit. Maybe it's because we play too much, but you know, I'm not sure exactly why it misses the mark.
It sounds like you're saying do you think it's a balancing issue to the charms, Socks, or do you think it's a design issue? Like, do you think that the concept, the theory of charms is sound, but there's some amount of the design of how they implement it in TFT that's problematic?
So, for example, you know, I don't know too much about Hearthstone Battlegrounds, but I know that spells are not once per turn. You can buy multiple spells in a round. Spells are a lot less impactful as well. There's no spell that just wins you the game, like Summon Dragon. They're all just minor buffs to your units, and then like you still want to buy them because it's important to build up like buff your units over, like throughout the game. In addition, TFT has charms as tied as their rolling process. So like that means like rolling becomes doing 2 things with one mechanic. So you're overloading the mechanic for no reason, right? Like spells needs to like probably be role independent in TFT. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but those are my basic Reddit, like
Sure. I can add some context for what it's worth. I played a lot of Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and you are correct. There are spells that are like charms that are in the shops. You have things that interact with that, like things that say like your spells cost less gold, or you get multiple spells in your shop, and you can see a lot more of it. But they are included basically in every shop that you roll, and there are some late game swing ones, but they're nowhere near as like Ice Block Desperate Plea. We're calling it Ice Block as a callback to the Secret Mage that used to freeze you if you died instead of actually losing the game. But yeah, I do agree that generally speaking, that late game they need a tone. I would love them to tone down some of them. I understand that they want the mechanic to be exciting, but I think that it'll be exciting the first 20, 30 times maybe, and then after that, it's gonna be like a miserable experience for the most part. When I say 20, I mean 20, 30 games you play of the set. I think it's gonna be expired that quickly. But hey, they already nerfed Desperate Plea. They actually toned it down. Instead of, you have to now at least stall for 10 seconds long. So that's a step in the right direction. You don't just get to automatically guarantee it. But
that's so fake.
Well, I mean, it's so fake, but like what people were doing, Bryce, they were selling their entire board and all their units just to buy this charm.
So basically, it's you have to be able to afford this charm without hemorrhaging your board, and it's an extra life for fun. I mean, that is some amount of a check, but it doesn't feel like it's enough.
They want these extreme swings. They don't want to just be like a bunch of dull get 1 gold, get 2 EXP type things.
I get it. I do, so. and I'm sure that there are casuals who enjoy it. I could see a reason why someone might find this exciting. It just doesn't sound very exciting to me. But it goes to honestly the heart of the conversation that we were having on the last episode with, Milk really wanted to talk about like the direction of TFT. Mort did say that he felt like there was enough kind of happening the rest of the game that they could start to tone back set mechanics. I asked him that question directly. Obviously he wasn't talking about set 12, but it sounds like maybe in the future we'll get like a slightly lighter touch, which sounds good. Because I agree with Socks that conceptually charms, like, when I heard the theory of it, it sounded fun. I was like, that actually might be good and skill expressive. Like, I could see a way in which this would be an impactful and challenging decision to make at different points in time in the game, and like making decisions about when to roll for charms and when not to. But if it sounds like it's turned the late game, the early game a little bit disruption, the late game into like a variance shit show. And it's also a giga low roll punisher too, because the people who are high rolling can afford to like spend a little bit of gold to roll for something decent and maintain streak and like actually push levels. Whereas it sounds like a lot of people are going to get stuck on 8 if you're not, like, you have to get the charms, otherwise you're just going to take a beating for the whole stage.
For what it's worth, I think the mechanic feels like really good on stage 3 and stage 4.
Okay.
But like as soon as stage 5 hits, when like people mostly have their boarded, like, I don't know, and like the charms also scale off stage. Like you get the strong ones as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And like once stage 5 hits and you get like the late game charms in the pool, it just gets kind of scabby. I don't know.
Yeah, makes sense.
I feel that. I guess we're gonna have to see. Time will tell. They said they're gonna look into that. I think they're gonna try to make some of the super rare impact charms. There's actually a charm that lets you buy. It costs 66 gold, and it gives you a 3-star 5 cost in the game. But also, it costs 66 HP. I'm sorry. It costs 66 HP, not 6 gold. Yeah, my
bad. So if you're already high rolling, it just goes an instant win the game button.
Yeah. Sorry, I misremembered. It costs 99 gold, 66 HP, and it gives you a 3-star 5 cost, which is like...
it's stage 7. You have to have 66 HP.
I mean, it's a funny idea, right? Like,
it is a funny idea. You know what?
I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, actually.
Just to throw one thing out there. No idea if this actually works. What about making the OP charms unique? Like, if you buy the Elder Dragon, then you'll never see it again for the rest of the game, and so you have to be thoughtful about like when you use it, or it's still shit.
You basically almost never like see there's like enough of them that exist that are super swingy.
Yeah.
And you usually don't see them like twice a game, anyways.
Okay. So there's a lot of them that are like
they're. I mean, I would have to look at a list, but it feels like there's like 15 or so.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I only heard a couple of examples.
Wait, 15?
I mean,
even
including like the Zerath ones. Like the Zerath ones are a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, he's talking about like, because Zerath gives you special power-up charms, and there's some really swingy ones. And then there's like, get 8 gold or something like that. So
I mean, I even consider something like stun enemy team for 2 seconds to be one of them. But like
Dragon Lord, yeah.
Earthquake, right? Earthquake's for sure one of them.
Yeah.
That's insanely
Earthquake's
powerful.
good.
How many seconds into the fight?
My one that I think is like really dumb.
Start a fight.
Is there's one that makes your team immune to crowd control for 8 seconds, which sometimes just actually hard counter certain comps because they're just like predicated in CC.
Yeah,
You can't do that. Can't be start of fight. There's a reason why that trait was always balanced around like stunning some seconds in. Because if you start off stunning the enemy team, they generate no mana from auto attacking, and your whole team just gets to cast before their whole team gets to cast, and you just snowball the fight. It's totally unfair.
Wait, I also
just
want
roll
to
to get the
hear.
counter.
I also want to hear your guys' take on the permanent effect terms. Like, there's one charm that gives you, for example, an artifact anvil, one that gives you a support anvil. There's one that gives your strongest unit like 300 HP.
Wait, there's one that gives both. I was watching Prestivan on my second monitor day, and he got a support anvil and an orange.
Yeah, that was one that everyone bitches
40,
about.
for 40 gold. It wasn't even that much money for 2 gold augments.
I mean, everyone bitches about that one. Yeah, that was considered one of the.
Shouldn't that be like 100 gold? Like,
it's probably not. It's probably costed based on the Lissandra encounter. So Lissandra encounter where you could buy an artifact ammo for like 22 gold, they probably cost around that. By the way, do you guys like the
gold? But yeah.
Do you guys like the permanent ones?
I honestly don't have that much issue with them. And I even think like the 40 gold artifact support one is not that far off. My main issues are just the ones that like it's like you press a button and then it equals you in the next fight. Like,
yeah,
those are the ones I have my main issue with. I think the permanent ones are like okay, to be honest.
Because I actually like the permanent ones. I mean I might be the only person. Like when I get one of the like you get an artifact one, I genuinely get excited. Like unironically, I'm like, oh yes, it's so cool. Maybe in the future I'll be like, oh, it's so late he got one, you know. But right now I'm like, oh, it's so cool. When I get the Earthquake one that Frontnet's talking about, where like pay 8 gold, win the fight for the next thing, I'm like, oh, this is so lame. I don't even want to buy this one. I'm gonna buy it anyways.
No. I mean, I actually agree. There's like this one like really troll one that's like 15 gold. You get like a random uncraftable emblem, and like on average you're not supposed to click it because it's just way too much variance.
Yes,
but like it's just so fun to click it, you know? Because like, what if you get like the 2 and like 15 or whatever?
Yeah.
Today I clicked that playing Find Vintage Olaf, and I got a mage emblem, and so
nice.
That was useless. And I just want to let you guys know, Mage Olaf is not very good.
Wait, Find Vintage, can you convert it into a support item or not?
Not very good.
No, you can't.
And you can't even like do stuff with like salvage because it's only uncraftable.
Yeah,
so it's
that's the whole point, though. I think.
Yeah, makes sense.
But there are some good
moves. It's genuinely fun. I like when I get something permanent. I genuinely like enjoy. I was in lobby 2. I was like talking to some of the guys about making more permanent ones, and they're like, oh, you know, we're not sure about it because it's the UI, right? It's hard to see. So, but yeah, I know in Hearthstone Battlegrounds are most of the like spells and stuff just buffing your unit stats, like permanent buffs to stats.
I mean, yes and no. There's stuff that like gives you economy. There's stuff that helps you find specific traits. There's stuff that gives you free rerolls.
Also counts, right? It's a permanent rollover buff, right?
Well, like everything is technically permanent because you hold it in your hand until you play it. So like the equivalent would be you pick up the charm and put it on your item bench. That would be the equivalent in TFT. So and you use it whenever you want. Either way, a lot of really interesting discussion. We're not here to ultimately dive too much into set 12, but perhaps a preview of some of the future agrees. I would love to talk more about set 12. Speaking of set 12, there's also another announcement about the upcoming Esports World Cup. The groups have been released, and everyone's picking Group B to be the group of death, featuring KC, Twisted Minds that qualified out of China, Team Vitality, and Mira Sejong, which has several Worlds players from Korea. They're picking like that group to be the group of death. Just up any comments in your group, you got Fnatic, T1 featuring Bintum, and Bobe and some other really good Korean players. Weibo Gaming featuring Homeland, Kudzes, the 2 multiple Worlds players, and Zero Tenacity, like a Polish team.
I think it's like on paper it's probably the second hardest, but honestly, like, I mean, I don't really fear any of these teams, so I'm not really worried about it.
Okay, all right,
nice.
All right. It's been very fun. It's been very fun. We only did a couple of sessions so far. I think we're one of the earliest teams to prep so far. So this week has kind of been it has been really interesting, but I think the preparation part of 4v4 is really fun so far. I like collaboration, I like discussion, and it's really interesting because Dishsoap, Kiyun, and Wage and Malala are pretty different people, so kind of gathering them into the room and hearing them talk about TFT is really fascinating as well. I hope that it continues to develop.
Is the huge wrinkle in that. I'd actually love to observe like how Kiyun's interacting with this group.
Yeah, he's the most vocal. I'll just say that. Sometimes he's just rambling about his game at times, which is pretty fun.
Well, yeah, I want to ask, how did Q end up getting picked up in here? Like, the rest of them, I kind of make sense. They have the points and stuff. But with your 0 point player, like, is there a reason why he gets picked Q?
Malala asked me like for a short list of people that maybe should go on the team, and then Keem was on a list that I gave him.
Can you say who else on the list?
I think I had Prestivant. I mean, the thing is, like a lot of these people like weren't like signed yet, or like a lot of these people were signed. So like, it was like there weren't actually that many, and I feel like picking up someone like Kyun that's like established and like it's definitely like with like the vocal stuff and like he's like kind of a leader in the group. Honestly,
he is.
I think that's valuable.
Kyun he's actually his skill set is very good at 4v4 in particular.
Yeah.
So, but perhaps that's something that we should keep a little bit more under wraps as to what exactly that is or why he's actually.
I really like the pick for what it's worth. I mean, I think people like. I'm not surprised Socks is surprised by it, and I think it is a little bit of an unusual pick in that spot with who the other three.
I mean, I'm not surprised by it. I was just curious. You know,
I think it's really good. I think he balances out that group very
well. It's like the meme with like the 3 dragons, and it's just like Dishsoap, Wager Iverson, and the Q. It's all goofy.
Oh yeah, or like the dudes in the military, and there's a clown lined up with them. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Honestly, that's a good. Someone should do that meme. That's good. Someone can do that right now.
No, he's actually one of the most valuable contributors to the team.
It's been done. But yeah, I mean,
done.
No, but yeah, who cares? Like, who cares in actuality? It's about the perception.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny.
Yeah. It is funny. Toji actually did the exact same thing about regionals when he was in the final lobby, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. EWC August 9th to 11th, and we will be there. I don't know if I'm going to coach stream there, but I technically got permission to do that. This is first come, first serve, but you have to go grab the PC, and anybody can stream from it. And like Fortnite and Street Fighter are going to be there, so they said, yeah, if no one's taking it, just take it. Coach stream it from if you want. I have to figure out if I even want to do that versus coach the team, so we'll see. Okay, so what we do as a little tradition is we go through the events and kind of walk through them historically, just kind of remember set 11. So let's start off with Tactician Cup number 1, which was won by Philip. And Altanahwe, Dishsoap, and JD, who were top 4 there. And this was like the beginning of Babzera being very consistent and him being the points leader for Brazil. Pokigam, Triple H, who had an epic run kind of memeing. He was playing like fine vintage Syndra and was doing like some kind of like weird, like he was just doing weird off-meta builds the entire time, which is really cool to see him. And then Socks also landing in the top 8s here. I don't have fancier graphics because there's no main broadcast set, so we only could take the Liquipedia results. That was the only way we were able to get those results. But I think this was really cool to watch because this is our first event going up against Brazil and LATAM. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask from Socks and Dishsoap's perspective, do you think the like hate or the, you know, honestly kind of the toxicity towards LATAM and Brazil was justified? Socks, that people are saying like it's just a waste of time, it's not fun. But we actually didn't hear like you speak about that subject before, so I want to hear your opinion.
Oh, I definitely think they're weaker. I don't know if I don't think it should like encourage toxicity or anything like that. But like they're definitely weaker, you know. At the end of the day, you know, people who are not doing well, I guess like you should not be like hating on people like that. I don't know if that people are actually hating or anything like that, but if you are, you should probably stop it. But I mean, a few of them are for sure standouts. But I still think overall the region is significantly weaker. I think they're just not getting around that until like they step it up, and like it's unclear like, you know, their strength, you know, going to next set. So yeah, I'm just gonna say how it is.
Okay. Dishsoap, you got 3rd in this tournament. What was your edge going into it, if you can remember?
This is first cup. Oh, this was like right after the forecast buffs, like across the board, right? That was this cup.
Wasn't this like your best patch of the set?
I guess. Yeah, probably.
You were so good on this patch.
Yeah, honestly, like, but the thing is, like, I know it wasn't optimized though, because we didn't like the dried version of Syndra was very playable on this cup, and no one played it.
That is true. That is true.
We played different versions, so like it definitely was not an optimized cup. I remember,
Early never is going to be, right?
yeah, I think I played like a lot of like Heavenly Kane, Yone, and Ashe. I think that or Heavenly Kane, Lisa, and Ashe, like those comps. I think I played like
right. And you were getting a lot of edge on Ashe in particular, I think.
yeah, but this was before the Ward and Ashe. It was like the Flex Ashe.
It was the Lilia Annie Ashe.
Oh yeah. This is when the Sandra was broken. Yeah.
Okay. Well, because
units.
that was the first cup. This is the second cup. You got second this tournament. It's funny that Bryce said that was the best best patch for you this set, considering one, you did better the next tournament, and also you won the world championship.
But there's quite a bit of variance that can go into that. I think that the four cost style has always been comfort zone for Dishsoap, and I think that their patch played wider than people realize. So I think that like if you ran that tournament back 100 times versus the other ones, I think he probably top eights that tournament like close to 100% of the time.
Okay.
Whereas I don't think that's true of the other ones. Obviously, he comes into them with huge edge, and the results speak for themselves. But that's just my impression. I also I didn't follow the set that closely, though. Admittedly, when I watch, I usually do watch Dishsoap, so I've watched him play a lot of the set, even if I didn't watch that many other people.
Sure.
Wait, I want to go back to the last tournament because I remember the first cup. I at the time I was like, oh, who cares about? Because I was eighth going to the final lobby, and I was like, who cares if you're eighth?
Did you like lose a neutrals?
Yeah, I lost it. I lost the cards.
Yeah.
I lost the cards, and I fortune cashed out. And at this time, I didn't know how to play fortune because I didn't have enough like.
I remember this game. I remember. This
game. I first off, I lost the cards. Everyone was already making fun of me. And second off, I took the augment where like if you're like bottom 4 in HP, you get combat buffs. So I was getting it at turn 1. Which just never happens, right? Because you can only get it from turn 2 onwards.
I remember this game. This game was so good.
We thought you were a genius. Scoreboard scrapper value at 2-1.
and then my fortune cash out. I got 3 artifact animals at the time. I wasn't sure.
You popped them at the start of the turn, Socks. You didn't even roll, buddy.
You
literally started off popping them. I was watching it. We were commentating live, and I was like,
so bad.
What is he doing, man?
No, I mean, not just because I'm bad, and I didn't have experience playing the set yet. And I'm also uncomfortable with that line. But it was my final lobby. I was like, who cares? I might as well play first race. So I went giga 8th, but it was a good time.
How'd you even like final lobby then?
I mean, like, no, because I was already in final lobby.
Yeah.
Prior to final lobby, I had to go get a 4th.
Yeah.
So I was playing for 4th. And then in the final lobby, if I went like 5th, I still would have won 8th place overall. So I was like playing for first race and just it was
I see.
But
man, that was funny.
I remember that spot well because I remember thinking Setsuko wins from this spot 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's 100%.
He does.
And you just turbo flamed out. It was deeply relatable. I would have flamed out there too for sure.
All right.
I mean, I'm just bad, but it's okay. It is what it is.
Second cup, Brazil finally strikes back. Koala as Belto wins with Dishsoap, David Ace, who also had a pretty good set, and Michael. And this is when I think public perception of Brazil was like, well, okay, NA is like the best, but maybe Brazil is like the second best region because we kind of thought it would be like Latam South, honestly, for a big portion because of Altanahwe, because of Michael, because of like historically a lot of good Latin players have come from LAS. And this was sort of the beginning of Brazil's comeback and people spamming People Brazil. And I felt like their region got like a pretty big surge because then we're like, yeah, wait, there's actually like a lot of good, solid players from Brazil, even if they didn't necessarily have good AVP in the past. Because part of the perception of why Brazil was weak was that at Worlds, they were bottom 2 in AVP almost every set for a while. So it was like them and Japan before title started coming on. And so I think that's where they developed early days and reputation of Brazil not being that strong. And then all of a sudden going up against them, I think a lot of people realized at that moment, which was really cool.
Yeah, this is when Dan started to think at regionals I would predict Brazil to have the number 1 AVP. Were you right about that, by the way, in hindsight? I didn't even know.
For region, actually, I don't know. I didn't see any stats to that. But I did predict that Americas would not have the highest AVP at Worlds, which I was right about.
But that's, yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that one's like pretty obvious, to be honest.
Yeah, NA is doing well. They didn't. NA wasn't best this year, right? But it did fine.
No, we
no,
were last.
no,
We were last, Bryce. We lose a
Oh
slot.
wait,
We lost a
NA.
slot.
Oh no, I knew America's.
No,
did, man.
both did bad. Like,
NA
both.
did really
NA,
bad.
yeah.
NA did really bad because we were almost last. Behind Gray and Wasian. Anyways,
But like yeah.
Don't worry, because NA had its moments. We got invited to the Summit Invitational. Dishsoap played in it. We only had 3 NA players, and all 3 of them top 8'd. So that was a really impressive feat in itself. Why are you chuckling, Dishsoap?
Oh, I don't know. This tournament, like, I mean, I went 6th, but like Ego literally DC'd, so I basically like went 7th.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I
yeah.
remember.
Really
He
cut
couldn't
off
even
on his
play the last
points.
game.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
and then also just like EU scammed like the last place win, like he got like double artifact Garen hero augment or something last game in checkmate. Yeah,
yeah,
Very skill expressive, very fun. It's an interaction of 3 of my favorite things of the set: hero augments and artifacts. Very good.
yeah, and checkmate.
And checkmate. Oh, very good.
It's the 1, 2, 3 for Bryce.
Very
It's the 1,
good.
2, 3. Yeah, Patable scammed the win, but hey, look, EU finally gets an international win again. It's a really stacked tournament. I actually think that, and for my personal ballot, and we'll show it later on, but I factored in things like performance in Summit because I think this tournament was super duper stacked. If you actually look at the field, it was some of the best of the best, pretty much like all the most recent world champions and finalists. And so doing well in this tournament, yeah, maybe winning is like a lot of variance in checkmate, but I think the final lobby, like, you know, showing that 3 NA players there made it's not a coincidence.
It says something about those players in the region for sure, though I will say that I didn't weight this at all purely because only 3 players got a chance at it, so it feels kind of unfair. Like, we don't know how any of the other players would have done.
That's true. That is true. But
yeah.
It does say something for sure.
It does say something.
It was a hard tournament.
And, you know, if Dishsoap makes Worlds next set, I am going to factor in the fact that he got like an invite from that previous.
He does make Worlds next set automatically.
But he has ladder requirements he has to clear, Bryce.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure the ladder
pretty sure
requirements
you could-
is like. No, I think the ladder requirements are literally it's like 50 games or something. Like they just want to make sure you know what set 12 is.
I am pretty sure that Dishsoap could, whenever the threshold is on ladder, he could just take a shot between every game, and he would clear it.
I'm just saying, Malala was basically 1 ladder requirement from going back to Worlds as well.
I mean, sure, but the difference is that Malala has a long tradition of mostly fucking around on ladder.
Yeah.
Dishsoap could be top 10.
Wasn't there like a LP karma as well, or am I wrong about that? It wasn't. Don't you have to be like?
It's
like
also been
200
Challenger, I believe.
Challenger.
That's probably.
I think you can do it, Dishsoap. I believe in you.
Yeah, Dishsoap, I believe in
If
you,
you don't,
buddy.
if you're struggling, I
Thanks,
know a
guys.
good website that can help you, buddy.
Yeah, if you work really hard, you'll make it to Worlds next set for sure.
Cup number 3, Socks. You didn't even think you were going to win this cup, right? You said that.
I came in dead last the first 2 days. Like dead last. No, but like the first day I was not really like, I was like, you know, who cares, you know, like this I'm going to just take the slot anyways.
Yeah.
And then the second day I was wait, did Dishsoap die the first day or second day?
First day.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And the second day I have no excuses. I remember the second day being motivated, and then I didn't do so well. But then the next day going to the final lobby, I had like this last minute prep session with Preston and Implosion, and we came up like Preston like told me like the craziest tag, and then like,
Do you remember
but he
what it
wasn't
was?
using it fully. Yeah, we can talk about it now.
Yeah, say so.
And he wasn't using it fully. I was like, why don't you just do this? And he's like, oh, I didn't think about it.
Wait, can you be specific? What was?
Yeah,
the
yeah. So
like, why are you speaking about in the abstract?
So the tech was during that patch there was 2 strong comps for sure. There was 7 Story Weaver and there was Faded.
Okay.
And whenever people played against Faded with a 7 Story Weaver, they try to spread out the front line and stuff, but it never really works out that well. You know, some people got the hang of it eventually, but like it never really worked out that well. But as it turns out, for whatever reason, when Azir casts his soldier, it almost always lines up with like Azir second cast almost always lines up with Kale second cast. And if you put Azir away from your Ornn for your main tank, after Ornn died, Kale almost always wasted the second cast on the Azir soldier. So just by putting Azir on the opposite side of your Ornn, you can almost always guarantee KO double casting on Soldier. So Dishsoap actually experienced that very fact at Worlds. He didn't know about that at the time, but he.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't like doing any specific like positioning for it, but I knew like Azir was good into Kale. But I didn't know there was like any setup for it.
But he accidentally recreated the setup at Worlds, and it did work.
So, so you actually positioned perfectly, just so, but you didn't even know that you were doing that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean,
My
much.
God, perfection to another level. It's unconscious. It's unconscious.
Okay, but like you don't even have like it's very broad what you like positioning you have to do each time.
Yeah,
like,
you have to like
God.
have like yeah.
But the crazy part, but the crazy part was here's the crazy part though. It didn't just work into KO. It worked into everything because as long as you put your Azir on the other side of your Ornn, what happens is that the soldier doesn't take any like weird AoEs. So in this patch, Lux was super dominant, and sometimes Azir would just spawn a soldier in the dead center of the board if you positioned him on the side, and then it'll eat the first Lux ult, which will reduce incoming damage, and it'll prevent your backline from getting stunned because Lux only stun 2 units. So like by positioning your Azir in a way where he's away from Ornn, he doesn't eat the CC from like random units. That W stays alive to actually take a full Lux ult and a Lux stun. So like that ended up like mattering so much in the final day. In 3 of my games that I played Faded, because I was watching and I was being observant, that actually mattered in like 4 different spots. So
that's the Socks tech. Watch the fights. Whenever anyone is confused and think about why Socks is good, he's like, it's easy. You just watch the fights.
No, but like I didn't think about this thing. It wasn't until President told me that I started actively playing around it. And
but then you just need to jog, and then once you start watching it, then you're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's OP as fuck. Yeah, so.
All right, sorry. I'm just someone in chat's like, pull up the replay. I'm like, what replay? There was no broadcast. No one streamed the event because it's not required to stream.
Yeah,
like,
this needs to get fixed. This needs to get fixed. We're losing actual TFT history. Like when I was VOD reviewing with Soap, I can't remember which day of regionals, but one of them, he made a comment that Socks that he thought you might have played one of the best games of all time, but it's hard to say because he was in the lobby, he didn't get to see it. But like you didn't stream it, like we didn't see it. So we just whatever that game was, I'll never get to watch it. I'm sad about that.
I thought I played like over the course of like the few tournaments, like I thought Dishsoap played some of the best games because when I was voting, even within my worlds. I thought he played really well.
Save it for the rankings review.
I also thought I played maybe 3 of my best games of my life in between some of these like Tactician stuff and some games.
I'm legitimately sad about this because I want to watch that. Like your best is worth watching, and that's true for a handful of players in the field. And I'm just sad that that's just like a part of TFT history that basically doesn't exist. Like it happened, but like we have no record of it.
All right, sit down, Bryce. You're like the only one.
I mean, it's actually crazy.
One guy.
They're not requiring the streams. Like, not even like just for like the viewer stuff, which is like really helpful, but like just for like competitive integrity as well.
Yeah. Yep. I complain about it a lot to Riot, and I just get like we will. Like we hear what you have said and we will consider it in our review. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I even asked Natures and like he gave a non-answer.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, they really can't say anything about it. I don't even understand.
But the thing is, we're like, it feels like we're the only region that's not doing that. Like in China and APAC and Europe, they're not only they're all mandating like face cams, especially on the final day of these cups, and like also requiring the stream. So it feels like we're taking active steps backwards, and we're like contorting the format. Okay, I don't want to spend the time complaining. That was a big overarching narrative of Set 11. It just felt like
it's just a history of Set 11. You're honestly go off, King. This is part of Set 11.
We took such a major step back of what made the competitive scene interesting, which was the depth of North America and the fact that there's a lot of rising challengers and rising players that wanted to grab a piece of it. So they were gate kept out, and the ones that were able to get through were dragged through the mud of having to play 3, 6, 9, 12 days to just get to the finals of a cup on weekdays. Nonetheless, right? It's one thing to play 12 days, but to make them to make them do it on weekdays as well, so they take time off work, but also to condense it. So they did like Saturday, Sunday, Monday into that same very Friday and Saturday, Sunday, so it wasn't consistent there. then to do all of that while also throwing in the fact that there's like long delays, there's like, you know, problems with the interregional, like there's a lot of problem with seeding, and there's a lot of like I remember this one sub-regional tournament where they literally put the best 8 players in one lobby, and then there was JD Zielinski and 7 Emerald players. I'm not calling out JD because JD had a great set, but like it was like JD, like he literally averaged like a 2.1 that entire tournament because he just kept beating everybody who was like Emerald and Plat, and then like there's like Rainplosion and like Stellar Minhee and like everyone else. It was like regionals caliber players all in one lobby, and that's like a tournament that qualifies you to the Tactician's Cup. It was just a complete mess from the very start. And the format was an utter disaster in terms of like, you know, it actually actively made some people quit the set. And I think that some people are probably going to try again. But if Riot fails, we might lose those players forever, which would be a huge disappointment in my opinion.
Preach.
But look, I can harp on it. You guys, if you guys missed it, there's literally hours of VODs of it where Goobums and Milk would join my co-stream to yab about it. So you can check it out. It's on YouTube if you want. This all leads, of course, let's just go ahead and lead up to from Tactician Cup 3 to the America's Golden Spatula. Grea wins it. Socks ties for it. So, you know, tying for first, but you lose a tiebreaker there. Actually, I guess, did we never even really talked about it because we didn't do an episode post of it, but what a weird format again, where we had only one player in this lobby not go to the World Championship. Somehow we landed in a spot where Michael was guaranteed the world spot due to his LATAM points, and Babzera was guaranteed for Brazil, and then Sox was guaranteed through qualifier points, and then we have 5 spots on the line. So in the final lobby, only the person who went last would not get through, and my God, was it close at one point.
Yeah, Weijin with a 13 fucking points on an entire day of TFT, and he qualified for Worlds off of that. Something has gone horribly wrong. Yeah, this was a little bit unfortunate. All the people who had like put themselves in automatic qualification position happened to make the final day, basically. But even then, I think that we really do have to reimagine what happens here. It's not. This did not feel like the final day of regionals. Let's put it that way. I did not. I'm normally like so excited, and this one felt a little bit like going through the motions.
Yeah. I know some people said that they want to change that, but there is like some slot distribution questions, and also if they are changing the format for future Tacticians crowns as well, what does that mean? I personally think that they can give away more slots. Like, for example, I think they could do Super Server for North America. That'd be really cool and give away slots that way. That's what China does. Yep. I would love to find ways to do more things like that.
That'd be cool. China also has like their last chance tournament where like the top 4 mobile and the top 4 PC players that didn't qualify yet duke it out in like one lobby for 4 spots. Obviously, we wouldn't do a mobile versus PC split because it's just mobile. TFT is not really a thing here, but I can envision a version of that tournament that would be really fun and could make that tournament would be really fun, and it would make the final day of regionals feel better because you wouldn't be qualifying such a high percentage of the final lobby.
All right, let's talk about the World Championship as well.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I just thought I wanted to bring something up, not for this tournament, but I just totally forgot, and I just have to talk about it because if not, I would do my boy injustice. Is that during Tacticians Cup 2, I didn't know what to play, so I just played a bunch of Silas, and I was like ranked 1 on ladder or something like that, playing 2020 Silas, averaging like a 2.0.
Yeah.
Going to the tournament, I was like the only person playing Silas day 1. Me and Asa were like the only 2 people playing Silas like day 1.
But Asa couldn't find Silas the whole fucking tournament, and you just hit Silas
he still did
every
well,
single
right?
game, and Asa's still looking for that fucking Silas.
I mean, he still did well, right?
Yeah, he just had so much edge.
Well.
And then day 2, all the other players started copying us. Silas, I think it was the first time in history a popular comp averaged the 5.67 or something.
Yeah, it was like the second most played comp, and it averaged like in the mid 5s. It was terrible.
That comp was so bad. And then
it was actually fine.
No. I got so many placements I played like so many Ashe games, and I said so many free firsts with Ashe because like 2 of my matchups each lobby were just like literally Silas matchups that I would have to be like a bronze player to lose. Like I don't know. I think I win like 1-on-1 Ash in the final day of that tournament, just because like I'm just getting so many free rounds on like against Silas. I can just go 9 with Ash 1. Like I guess thanks, but yeah, that comp was so bad.
Socks tricked all the noobs so Soap could win the tournament.
No, I genuinely thought it was good, but also people played it so badly. People were doing double crown guard backline Silas for like
I remember
38
that, the debate about backline Silas. Oh man, that was an interesting tournament for sure.
I saw 3 Twitter guides with backline Crown Guard Silas.
it was for literally 30 AP because that's how much 3 stage gave you. It was so funny. Good times.
Socks is just laughing at how bad people are at TFT.
No. I got impacted because my plan of only playing Silas totally bombed out day 2 because I ended up playing like multiple Ash games because I was like, you know what, this is like enough is enough, right? Like,
True. Oh man, I forgot about that. The Sabio Flex era. Oh man, it might be a new record of the most popular played versus the actual result. All right, for the world's group stage, we're just kind of like leading into it. These were the 8 players that was kind of leading going into it, and ended up having really good group stages. Double 61 topping group stages, and then on the final day also being able to get top 2. And there's a conversation that was actually happening around specifically who could be from this tournament crowned as like the greatest TFT player, the TFT GOAT. And before we kind of felt like Juan May's record was not going to get matched for a long time, so we kind of put a pin on that after like set 8, set 9. But now we pick it up again. With Double 61's first in his world championship in set 3, and then second here behind Dishsoap, does that guy end up becoming part of the TFT GOAT discussion? Is he number 1?
He has to be. He also top-8'd Vegas. How many other worlds has he made?
He made 4,
others?
which is the current
so
highest
4
amount,
total. Yeah, which is insane. And he's doing it, as much as we meme EU, and I do love to meme EU. It's an obviously very strong region that it's hard to qualify from. Like, being one of the EU qualifiers to Worlds is not an easy feat. So to do it 4 times and to look this good as he always does doing it, I don't know how you could possibly not have him in the GOAT conversation.
Wait, Bryce. Keep this on the down low, but you can't say that on broadcast, I thought.
He can on our podcast. Now he won't say it on the official broadcast.
I thought we're trying to keep you down because EU players all watch NA right now, and if EU realizes that their players are actually pretty good, they might start switching to watching those guys instead, which means we lose viewership and money indirectly.
Oh
my bad. You're telling me I'm hurting the NA streaming economy right now?
Yeah. Significantly.
EU sucks. Keep watching NA.
True.
I mean, I personally don't think anyone's the GOAT. Like.
Yeah. I don't know. He has to be in the conversation.
For sure. I just don't think anyone. Like, I just don't think there's a TFT GOAT.
I'll say it right now, by the way.
That's my take as well.
Yeah, I think
too young. What are we, Overwatch? Yeah. Like 2.5 years in? The Overwatch GOAT after 5 Overwatch splits. I just fucking rolled my eyes at that point. I was like,
wait. I'll say it right now. Double 61 is the GOAT. He's way better than Juan. I've watched both of them. Double 61 is miles better. Sorry, it's just what it is.
Interesting.
Oh, I think he's better. I think he's better too. But
part of it was that Juan May accomplished more so than I think. Because what's interesting about Juan May in particular is that he actually failed a lot of players' eye tests. Goobums was one of the first telling me in set 6, he's like, I don't think this guy's that good. He won the world championship, but yeah. So I think there's been a lot of people who've been doubting him for a while, but he put up the results, and but it's been a few sets since, and I think some players are continuing to put that on. And hey, I mean, if Dishsoap is back at Worlds and makes a good run, Tidal is back at Worlds, he makes another good run. I mean. I don't want to necessarily kind of jinx this out, but like Bintum also made it to 4 Worlds, and he's made it pretty recently. He's made multiple final lobbies. That's really impressive. APAC in general, by the way, really underrated region.
Bintum was too much hate. I listened, he did some interview. It might have been super lost in translation because I think it was translated from Korean to Japanese, and then I translated that Japanese into English from Google. But like, I don't know. I thought he said like a lot of like super thoughtful things about like the Korean scene and like some meta stuff before Worlds. I don't remember where I saw this interview, but I feel like he gets too much hate, and I'm pretty sure like the first like when he called NA bad, I'm pretty sure he was just talking about like the slash deafen, like just that. I think he got like kind of taken out of context, to be honest.
He kind of was, but it created kind of a new villain for people to kind of latch around. And honestly, he makes international tournaments really fun to watch for NA because he's always there, because he's qualifying, because he's obviously very good. If you watch his games at Worlds, he also did some really impressive stuff. He's a fantastic player, so he's always regularly there, but also in these final 8-player lobbies, he has a reputation of going 7th or 8th in the final standings. So it kind of creates an interesting dynamic.
Bro, I mean, he almost boomed me. Like what was that?
If I was Venti, I might just double down. You know, fuck it. Like, NA went last. NA, no, I like right now. NA went last in Worlds. America as a whole went last in Worlds. Just double down and say America sucks. You know, like.
Okay, but Dishsoap fucking won, so it's very hard to double down in this current moment.
Oh, true. Okay, we give it a little bit, and then you can double down.
It's up for 8 seconds.
Okay. Wait, I'm playing a clip right now of Dishsoap's win.
Come on, I fucking believe. Heal it. Like it doesn't die. It doesn't die. Yeah. Sun again.
Oh.
I think we fucking did.
Yeah, I don't know. This game was like so interesting, like seeing like other people's like reactions to it. I did not know he had Wade locked in the shop. By the way, he just like bought it. That's the only reason I knew. I was thinking about some other stuff.
I fucking believe.
So yeah, I got kind of lucky. But the thing is, like, I actually probably had the 3-star 4 cost on like the last turn before he could react to it because it was so easy to deny me.
Yep.
It was a crazy
really
game. A lot of ebb and flows. I mean, I love the pivot because you were going for Hui 3 with birthday present. I don't know if you know, but during the co-stream or when we were going through this, you picked birthday present, and we were like, well, you know, the thing about birthday present is sometimes it's kind of hard to actually like win the game, but like you can go for a really good placement with it. And Kerem was like, no. Like, if the perfect player would find a way to win, anyways, through this.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Like, I don't want to take away Dishsoap's thing. Like, Dishsoap played a flawless game, but like his fucking birthday present gave him like what? I believe it was Loon 2 into Lilia 2 or some. It was Lilia 2, I think so. Into Hui 2. Like what do you mean?
I mean, like literally, no one is going to win Worlds without like power lane like that, man. Like, it is what it is.
But that is pretty handpicked though. True right there.
I mean, he played it flawlessly. That's not the issue here. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, you know, like I will say. Oh,
I mean, I almost got scared. Like, I don't think people really realized how hard it was for Bentham to hit Annie there, and he did. Because like,
it was.
Like, I was trying to roll for Annie. I'm trying to play for Invoker, and like Annie's supposed to be my frontline, not the stupid Galio unit. But I didn't see a single Annie. I rolled like probably like 30 gold on 9, 20 gold on 8.
He hit it like instantly.
He hit the last roll. He had to sell like a unit as well.
No. He hit like 2 after I rolled on 9, like 30 gold on 9. So like if I like deny 1, he doesn't hit. So
yeah.
Anyways, we're really happy. Man, the pasta is so fresh, you guys, and we're about to start the glaze. You might think that this is like, oh, they're almost done glazing. No, we're here to actually reveal the top ranking. So
the glazing hasn't even begun.
Glazing hasn't actually even begun.
Buckle the fuck up.
Wait, I also have to throw some glaze because
for sure.
Because I was watching Dishsoap. And
wait! Save your voice. Whoa! If you're about to do a soap glaze, wait. That's the end of the show.
Okay, my bad. Sorry,
you're good. You're good.
Yeah. I forgot to load in my fancy graphic to show the top 15 rankings, but just imagine, fancy graphic. My bad.
Ooh, look at that fancy graphic.
All right.
Holy.
And so, welcome to the top 15, where we are officially going to rank in definitive the final top 15 players of set. And when we traditionally do this on our podcast, it's a preview of based off the power rankings. Who do you predict will be doing the best? But this is based off performance, sort of like an end of season MVP vote for your favorite sports league in some ways. And so we do the same thing. We have a judge of panels. We ask them rank them 1 to 15, and we're focused on North America only. And so we're going to start off at number 15, and we're going to go one by one. This one ends up being kind of weird. We actually have a two-way tie, believe it or not. So the first person that we're going to reveal is Bruce. Bruce, LOL, his very first set ever for making a top 15 ranking. Between Socks or Dishsoap, do you have any experience like talking to Bruce or going up against him or any kind of anecdotes? Because it is a little bit of a surprise qualification here for top 15.
Besides like just playing against him like on ladder and like in tournaments sometimes, not really. I don't think I've talked with him at all.
Okay.
So I don't really have that much insight, to be honest.
All right. What about you, Socks?
I genuinely like don't know too much about him. I don't even like. I definitely recall seeing him on ladder, but I feel like he's never like stuck out to me or anything like that. So
Okay.
I think he's like relatively like high on ladder though, comparatively to like other people.
And he had good ladder stats too.
He has good ladder stats. He independently prepared. He messaged me before regionals asking if I could introduce him to anybody to practice in VOD review. So he's actually on the hunt for other people to practice with. So great season overall. 9th Tactician Cup number 1, top 16 for number 2. Makes a decent performance at regionals. So if you guys are looking for practice partners or potential people to pick up as part of your group, you should definitely check out Bruce. But he does share the 15th spot with another person who barely makes it, and it's a pretty big reversal from the previous set. It's Malala. Malala actually gets in and ties him on points. But this was a set where I think 15 is not just, of course, surprising given what happened in the previous set, but very disappointing given how close Malala was to make it to back-to-back world championships. And then who knows what ends up happening if he ends up getting there, Bryce.
Yeah, it's a bummer we didn't get to see him back. He it's not like he played that badly this set. Like his opening 2 cups were fine. He did very well in the Summit Invitational, so everything was kind of cruising. But then he missed the ladder snapshot. He flamed out in opening weekend, right, of the 3rd cup, and then that was all she wrote, which is pretty punishing when you really think about the format. Like it's and that's why they changed the world's threshold, because the idea is you really do want them back if they're invested. Malala for sure played well enough this set to have deserved to have the chance to repeat his title. Like anyone who thinks that Malala wouldn't have been competitive at Worlds if he had been invested and gotten into form for it is an idiot. Malala's really good at TFT, so I'm sad at how the set played out for him. Very sad. I would have much rather seen him have a real chance at competing at Worlds, because I think he would have been competitive.
Yeah.
Isn't his results just as good to say how bad this format sucks? Like this format sucks. Like you just chalk it up to that.
The fact that he didn't make regionals,
like it is what it is.
This is high key like a hot take, because like I know a lot of competitive people think the opposite, but I actually think there's too many slots on ladder right now.
Oh, like, interesting.
Yeah, I mean the biggest complaint for like the longest time and like from like set like 7 through like 10 or whatever was that there wasn't enough ladder spots to regionals, but I'm pretty sure there's like too many.
How many are there now?
How many is there's like 6, right? It's not that many.
No, there's 6 in A, but then there's like 5 LATAM, 4 Brazil or something, or like maybe reverse or something. But there's so many ladder slots.
So it makes it, you feel like it's not putting enough premium on the tournament performances.
Yeah, because I mean, like these tournament results, like probably like is like the bottom, like the top of bottom half, if that makes sense, of like a normal qualifier points to regionals in past sets.
Okay, interesting.
So like definitely like regionals quality tournament results, but there's just so many slots based on ladder that like you basically had to do quite well if you wanted to only make it off of tournaments.
Yeah, you really couldn't make a mistake, right? You couldn't have a bad cup like this,
right? Well, if there's anything that kind of was showcased as well, is that Malala's ladder has always been sort of an Achilles heel for him, and it's not like he didn't try. He actually tried to qualify via snapshot like the week leading up to it, but I think he kind of put a ton of pressure on himself, and I think that also sapped a lot of his enjoyment, quite frankly, from TFT. I think that might have been the beginning of the end for him in terms of his set, in terms of like enjoying actually what he was doing, and it felt more like he had to have made it. He was supposed to play, and he had to like qualify. And I think that's usually a dangerous spot for a lot of players when they start losing some of that joy of competing.
Totally. He made snapshots the first 2 cups. It was just the 3rd cup they didn't make snapshots.
Yeah. And it was hard because it was one top 4 away.
So, right?
He was one top 4 away as well. He was
well,
really
I thought
close.
he didn't. I thought he didn't make snapshots one of the other.
Did he have to
well.
opening weekend one of the ones? I don't remember.
I could be wrong. Maybe Malala's in chat. I think he could maybe check in.
No, I think
But
he
also-
qualified for both, but he was. I remember he was 10 LP back, so he just needed the top 4, and then it kind of just ran it down hundreds of LP after that. So it was brutal.
He said he made first 2 snapshots.
Either way, he says he's going to come back for EWC, and then we'll see after that if he's fired up. But hopefully, maybe a little bit of a break off season can help revitalize him and get him back into the right mindset.
Man, it would be such a bummer if like this format wound up costing us Malala, because he's definitely one of the best players in NA, and he was also, I think, improving. Like I think he was still getting better. I don't think he was. I don't think Malala had achieved his.
Wait, does Malala still have a job? By the way,
Yes,
I like
yes, he does.
Yeah, dude. If I was Malala and I just won Worlds, like. I'd love to fucking take the set off. Like, who cares, you know? Like, what do you have to prove? I don't get it. Like
Well,
it
it
just
was-
no show the next set.
It
Who
was
cares?
the fact that you might be that it felt like he was gonna be back at Worlds, right? If you win the World
Yeah, but, like-
Championship, you should be back.
Like you have no motivation anymore, though. Like you already won Worlds, you already won Vegas, you already won Tacticians Cup, you already won NA regionals. Like what is left to do? You know,
I think
like,
it depends. I think it just depends on
Let me go home.
your state of being, Socks. That's some anti-goat shit right there. Like,
Yeah.
I just have a Socks for next time, so I'll say.
all the goats of everything ever got in that situation, Socks, and said, "You know what? I have to prove that I'm fucking way fucking better than them, and that I'm
Yeah.
just gonna fucking destroy them
And they're
over
greedy.
and over and over."
Nah,
And I
this
don't care
stuff-
how many times I beat them. I want them to still. I'm gonna rub their face in it again and again and again.
This stuff doesn't even unqualify in Worlds next set. Just trust.
all right. Let's talk about number 14. I'm gonna go to Sox for this one. Back on the list for the first time in a couple of years, actually, is Asa.
Mhm.
Asa makes it to number 14. His stats, I'm not gonna lie, do not look very
Yeah.
good. I did not expect Asa to make this list. So I want to go to Sox here and talk to me about Asa. Do you think he deserves his number 14 spot? And what if so, why do you think that is?
I mean, I'm honestly not sure. You know, like you know, I've been friends with Asa. We've been prepping together. We've been playing more Dominion than TFT in almost every tournament. So it is what it is. But Asa is a person who in high stress situations plays really really well, and I think like that's like the key, right? Like Dishsoap does that too really as well. I think a lot of people who can't adapt in tournament settings just don't do as well. But like for example, me like during a tournament when I care a lot about, I play completely different in tournament than in ladder, and Ace is the same where he like somehow in tournaments he just was able to turn it on. And
Okay.
I mean I think I personally think Asa's you know, he's probably a little bit burned out too much because he watches too much TFT, plays too much TFT. Like I actually think when we took like a small break, like no TFT, it'll work out better for him.
Wait, didn't he like retire for a set?
He did. Took
No, because he's like for a set he did what I don't think he did retire,
Oh,
but he was like working on his like coaching website, which is like indirectly still consuming TFT content in a sense.
Mhm.
So he's like been on the grind related to TFT or like an offshoot of TFT for this whole time. And like even right now he's still on the grind, you know, making content for his like website and stuff. So
That's his primary income, right? Is the website?
yeah, I think that's his primary income right now. So I mean, regardless, I know he has to do it, right? Like he can't just like take a set off or anything like that. He has to keep doing it. But I think Asa is definitely one of the most you know, gifted in terms of how he thinks about the game, and especially in tournament settings. So
Okay.
I mean, look, I voted for him. I think it was probably not a justified vote based on the stats or the results. I think that there's a heavy amount of like Asa is the Mr. Congeniality of TFT. He's just like so nice and reasonable and supportive, and he's just a good human. So it's like great to have him back, and like fun to remember him as coming back this set. He hasn't really competed for a while. But I think probably on resume, this was, I voted with my heart more than my head on this probably.
I would say that it's also sort of a comparison. Someone has to be ranked around here, and I think if you compare him against some of the people who didn't make it, it's a little bit closer. And we'll show you at the end who also did get votes. But I will say one thing: Asa, it has kind of an interesting first to rate dynamic. Has a really high win rate, something that is very unusual for someone on this list. But also has gotten eighth like a lot, so that's why his AVP is low.
Yep.
Okay, at number 13, we have a new inductee as well, and that actually might be surprising given how much he's talked about in a lot of circles. Spencer makes the list for the first time, and he's at 13. And also, Spencer, kind of one of those players where it's just like, I think it's mainly due to his ladder prowess, because it's just been a lot of sets now where Spencer's made a couple of good runs. Like he had a top 16 in Tactician Cup number 2. But for the most part, Spencer hasn't really put up those tournament results, and I kind of wonder why that is. Bryce, you're a huge fan of Spencer in terms of his peak. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, he was really good at both the first 2 cups. His AVP was good. His play looked good. I think he had good beat on the meta. And then he'd auto-qualified right off of ladder for regionals, and so he didn't play the 3rd cup. And
No, he forgot to. He downloaded the round tournament.
He got DC'd. Or
right. I forgot about that. And then he wasn't taking regionals prep very seriously at all. Like he was just kind of didn't enjoy the set anymore, didn't want to play the game anymore, and just kind of showed up and went through the motions. But I mean, I rated him really highly on all of the tournaments this set. I think if he wants to play a bunch of set 12, I think he's really good. I think he's a player who's like investment level relative to their skill level. He's putting way fewer skill points into TFT than a lot of the people on this list, and he's just so good at the game that he can make up for it.
Okay, I think that's fair. I also do think that I like Spencer a lot. He's coached me and he's helped me a lot improve at TFT. I do think that I want to see him be consistent in that regard, right? It's always a motivation issue, and after a certain amount of time, it's like, well, if you keep saying like, well, you're not trying that hard or you don't really want that bad, it's like, should we even seriously consider you in these conversations at all? I don't think he cares, quite frankly.
You have to consider him. I mean, like, there's tons of athletes over the course of history. Like, I grew up watching Ken Griffey Jr., and if he had, like, GOAT level work ethic, he would have been GOAT level baseball player. He didn't. He was just supernaturally good at the game, and so it was a joy to watch him. His swing was beautiful. He was a hell of a player. Yeah, I think Spencer might just be that. I think Spencer might never really ever show, much like DQA. I guess DQA has before. He showed his true peak form once. I don't know that Spencer ever has, and maybe he never will.
Okay. Well, I mean, he made it to Worlds at least.
Yeah.
So he does have that under his belt.
Let's see. I for some reason I think Spencer is part of both our groups. I don't know if your group is active or anything like that, but
no, not really. I don't really talk to him.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't like Spencer was popping off before I really got into TFT that much.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like the past frame of reference, but to me, when I watch him, he's he's really, really high APM. There's a lot of stuff correct, naturally, and knows how to manage econ. But usually it feels like he's just missing very, very key ideas in whatever patch we're playing. Which probably just means not enough effort, I guess. I don't know. It feels kind of weird speculating when you don't really know what's going on and we don't talk to them. But
that's interesting.
So Spencer's part of our group, and we always call him a rat because he never really contributes. He'll watch and flip.
He's not a knower. He's there to sap knowledge from you.
No, but the thing is we always call him a fucking spy because we thought he contributes to the other group and he doesn't contribute in our group. He just speaks in our group. But occasionally, whenever he says something, it's always super smart. And yeah. I think Spencer is super, super, super good. I mean, he's clearly not got the work ethic. He doesn't really care that much, but if he ever is motivated, he'll turn it on and instantly start pressuring everyone.
I mean, It's not easy qualifying via ladder the way he did and missed Tactician's Cup 3, right? It's a story of two different sets. Malala didn't get to regionals, and Spencer did. So
okay, you're saying it's not easy, but there's there's 6 slots. I feel I don't know.
Oh,
there's a difference between you qualifying for it and other people, man.
I mean, we know coming into the set,
6 slots is kind of a lot, man. I don't know.
But to Jista's point, by the way, I never played for the ladder slots even a single time. I didn't even check, and apparently at the very end of it, I was 6th or 7th or 8th.
Yeah,
I was there. If I wanted to qualify through ladder, apparently I could have. So, but I didn't.
Okay, literally all you have to do if there's 6 slots is just. You just sit, you just climb and then you sit, you don't play any extra games. If you really need to play in a Swarm account, but
Yeah, there's no
I don't know.
weight to set, for example.
The actual like requirement is really not that much. If you like actually like go and see like who ends up
Man.
qualifying.
Okay. This might be a little. This might actually be a little bit too gatekeeping. You know, like no, like I'm sure it's easy
Okay,
for you.
how am I saying how am I just like gatekeeping if I'm like telling people like it's easy, you should try for it. It's an easy way to get into
No, I'm
regionals.
sure it's easy for you, but like
easy for
it's,
you, man. Like, of
Okay,
course.
okay. Is it better to say that it's easier than qualifying like purely through tournaments? Because I think it is. I think it is
no, it's way
easier.
easier. No, like here's the thing. Like Bishop's 100% right, by the way. Like if I focus on ladder and like
Yeah, but
start
that's
sweater
yeah,
every
but
single
easy
ladder
for
game.
you as well, man. Like, yeah,
No,
we
like
know.
isn't like, but the thing's like I don't have the fucking mental like capacity to actually do that. Like on ladder, I just want to dick around like and not take care, not worry about that. And like I don't have the like the what is it? What's the right word? I don't have the like I can't actually do that. Like but
Like the discipline.
discipline. Yeah, I don't have the discipline to do that, but this stuff actually does, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Like the discipline itself is not trivial.
it's not
I
for
guess.
sure.
Like
but
making a
also,
sports account.
But if it, yeah,
not
it's
trivial.
it's not easy if all of a sudden 15 people are trying to really fight for it.
There,
It's
but
easy
also to be
now.
clear, there are multiple people on this top 15 from this set that are not capable of doing it. Like it's actually you do have to being good at ladder and at the top of the ladder is sorting for a somewhat specific skill set. And there are a lot of people who are good at TFT that can't really like consistently break the 1500 barrier.
Yeah, honestly,
I
just
mean,
just a
I disagree, but
just hope it's a ladder try hard is what I'll say.
no,
Man.
I mean, I disagree because like I feel like people should be trying harder on ladder and they don't. Like
should.
it's
I
not.
don't try hard
it's-
on
it,
that
like,
hard on ladder. I do
No.
sometimes, but like
It's not like
Like,
these people
no, really.
are incapable of trying harding on ladder. They do it for like all these snapshots, but if they just did it all the time, then
yeah, but who wants to do it all the time? Like what?
I mean, do you want to go to regionals every set? Like I don't know.
No, I mean like it's not worth it. It's not worth like sitting every week in my opinion. I don't know. I mean,
Okay,
it's just,
so
it's not like good
I think
banter.
we're reaching a disagreement there, but I think it's interesting conversation, and I personally believe it's funny that Sox is like Dishsoap is right, and by the way, this is me disagreeing with him in every way. But yeah, I do think that it's only going to become more competitive because I think this set is a wake up call for some people who did qualify versus who didn't. So we do want to move on, but I do think it's a really interesting conversation piece. At number 12, another new ranked member. This is actually going to be pretty commonplace. We have several new inductees. We have Cam Lee, who had a pretty solid set. I think his weakest showing was regionals, unfortunately.
Regionals,
And at one point, Cam was in the running for being able to even get through to qualifier points at a certain point. So Cam Lee, I mean, I think that Cam has shown a lot of improvement in particular. He's also, part of that like underrated group of folks who perhaps with like, for example, like replay, so he's a little bit under the radar. But I would love to see Cam capitalize on this momentum and push for maybe top 10 and above. I think he can do it.
Yeah, he was super fun to have on the podcast. This is probably the lowest he goes. Frankly, his regionals performance was super disappointing for him, especially, I imagine. And he was tracking for a much better ranking than this. Especially, I mean, if regionals goes well and he makes worlds, and depending on how that goes, then I mean, he could have easily been in the top 3 this set. Like he had been really impressive overall. So every set we have new people on this, and one of the fun things about TFT is some of them are going to pan out. And will continue to ascend as players and break through the next level and be really kind of part of the mainstays of NA. And some of them are going to flame out, and I have no idea which category.
I mean, just do the Aniko, just believe in everyone, so that
see, that's
when they pop up, you can be like, "Oh, I told you guys."
Yeah, that's the tech. I have no. I will say that the limited amount I watched of Cam, I do see. I definitely see some of the like replay in him. I really loved having him on the podcast. I'm rooting for him. I'm not convinced that he's going to break through, but he does seem to have the work ethic for it. He seems driven, so that's a huge plus in my book.
I think he has the tools. I think it's up to him to follow through with it because he was very diligent this set. I want to see that for set 12 and beyond, assuming he wants to compete. At number 11 is a person that is, it's actually pretty interesting if you look at his history. It's Milk. Milk is back with a top 4 performance in Tactician Cup number 3 and a pretty respectable performance in regionals. Overall, just being very consistent this set. There's 2 things that stand out to me. One, if you look at his previous rankings, he was top 4 in set 9, then 11th in set 7, and then top 3 in set 6, and he took set 10 off. So it's actually very much on pattern for him to just kind of be like hot, cold, hot, cold. The second thing is this is the lowest Milk's win rate has ever been, and actually he has the second lowest win rate overall of all regionals players. So it was actually a very uncharacteristic like Milk. He was lost most of the set. By his own admission, has been taking the set very casually. Like he was not reading unit abilities and everything like that. And so a lot of people highlighted, like people were ranking him really highly going to regionals because they thought like he would lock in and he was going to try to get into gear. And he got into, you know, like fifth gear, like fourth or fifth gear. He never hit his peak performance, but I think that's like a really scary thing because last time he was like ranked, you know, set like 11th around this range. Set 9, he was very scary and just a couple points away from making worlds again. So I think Milk will be
all
good.
that context, and you missed the most important thing. I mean, my God, look at that jawline too. Holy.
Sure.
Yeah, look, I mean, Milk is a god. I believe he invested fewer skill points in TFT this set as well, but he's very, very good. I hope that he's coming back because he's undoubtedly in the tier 1A of North America when he is playing at or near his peak. But this seems about right, and I think that loss streak was pretty bad for a lot of the set, and I think that's hurting his win rate a lot and hurting him overall as well because he's always, for me, been probably the best loss streak player in NA. And so, yeah, I think if loss streak becomes better, then that will set up very well for him.
All right.
My Milk is my friend because he joined my group, and what I'll say about Milk is I've always thought this. Ever since he started dating, he you know, TF's just gone downhill for himself.
Wow. Oh my God.
I was saying for me, so like I'd like, you know, like no flame, nothing like that. It's self flame, in fact.
It's not flame.
We love you, Abby.
Definitely
All
not.
right.
Abby's great.
Yeah. Let's go into our top 10, shall we? That was our first 5, or at least our first effective 5. At number 10, we have a new inductee once more. It's Linsky himself. JD makes it after a very hot first half of the set with a sub-regional win, a Tactician's Cup number 1 top 4, and then just a few points short of making Final Lobby. And at this point, you can just say that if you made Final Lobby, you were probably going to go to Worlds. It was just such a high likelihood. So JD was just a couple of placements off from actually getting to his first World Championship with his stellar top 4 rate. Although, again, I just want to color some of his stats were a little bit because this guy was a huge stomper in that first part of the set. But I mean, what a hell of a set by JD, man.
Yeah, really, really good set. So
is this average placement taking into account the Ascension of the Aegis tournament? Is that why?
These are stats listed from Gangly.
No, it's not.
I don't
It's
know
not,
exactly
man.
how many.
It's definitely not factoring in because he only has 43 games played.
Wait, if he's a 4.0 average with these stats, obviously he got hella scammed. Wait, what?
So for what it's worth, that's the point I was going to make. I was going to say that I think he's too low on the list. I think he should be higher. His actual AVP.
I mean the thing is like your AVP can go up if you get like day 2'd.
It can for sure.
Oh, that's right. Because the less games you play, I see. Okay,
If you're like on the bubble to get day 2'd and you had a good day 1, like your AVP is like actually pretty good. But
I see.
Like if you make it a day 3 and have like a bad day 3, it can go like down.
Look,
So
you can always play those games, and it definitely can.
I mean that helped me because like. That helped me with because I got like barely day 1.
Wait! This guy got the AVP bump. Then he finished right below the cut. Day 2, day 3. Oh shit!
Yeah, 71 and 72.
We need to make this guy lower a little bit.
The AVT boost. I see. It's like the LP bug, but for AVP. Fantastic. And JD was one of my favorite guests this season. I would love to have him back. He was such a good dynamic. Really positive guy, and honestly, I really enjoy having a refreshing. He's just he has such an optimistic view about TFT competitive, which is just very different than talking to a lot of TFT players.
He's number 10 on the ballot, number 1 in chat's heart.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure like someone enjoying the game is kind of a pretty big buff for playing in
He likes playing TFT. Oh my god! Holy shit!
Because if like I don't know like. If you're like a Giga complainer, like I really don't expect you to do that well. Like you gotta like even if you like don't enjoy the patch, you gotta find something you enjoy to like hook yourself into having fun because you're not gonna do well if you don't have some fun.
True. Now you said that he should be higher, but it starts to get kind of interesting because if you look at some of these other players that we have in the single digits, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense because we only have so many spots. At number 9, and this was starting to get pretty competitive as well, we have Philip for the first time making it to a set final rankings with a first and the Tacticians Cup number 1 and a pretty solid run at regionals. Did end up, kind of getting there in the top 16, but overall, Philip had really high peaks, and I think that's what people are measuring for this set for the most part. And I enjoy watching Philip's improvement as well. He's kind of like a very humble guy. If you ever listened to his episode this season, he was very much believing that he wasn't even that good, even though he won.
I heard it was the opposite.
Yeah,
that he's not humble.
I mean, I don't think it's like a bad thing, but I've heard like the exact opposite from other people.
Oh, okay. Do tell, because he was humble on our podcast. He was humble on our podcast.
He was, but he was high on confidence. He thought he was very good.
I see. Okay, so you're saying I'm mixing it up then. Okay, in that case, I apologize. But Philip has a big turnaround this set in particular. Got a lot of hype from Gangly about his prophesied performance, and then got memed on and delivered big. And a lot of people within that practice group, he practices with Malala and Wasian and all of them. We're kind of like vouching for him for a long time, and so it feels like kind of an overdue breakout performance for him. But kind of going back to the Camby Lee and the JD, like, can they keep that momentum up is the question.
Totally. It's that's one of the fun parts about the list. It's going to be an open question. You see he responded in chat. He said, I just think other people are bad, I'm good.
I see.
Wait,
I see.
I wanted to say something because I don't really know too much about him, so I just searched about low chess. When I was searching up low chess, I thought these lives. Please said 11.
He's playing right now.
Oh, he's still playing set 11.
He's playing set 11. His last 5 scores against literal master players are 1.
He's just dunking master players on ladder.
Listen, he's a confidence boost. That did not end well for him.
I see. Nothing wrong with that, man. So, hey, listen, even Steph Curry goes to the YMCA to shoot a couple pickup games.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Bro, Philip, some people just want to hit GM and get their border, their rank border for the fight. Stop. Just let them have their portraits, man.
Philip's
this guy has to
like,
go.
Fuck your rank goals. You're not hitting challenger on my watch, bitches.
Holy cow! All right.
Wait, but if he's playing side 11, that means he really likes CFT. So
that's a good
stuff. Probably,
End of set defense. My God. All right. At number 8. The exclusive top 8, right? People you expect to see being in the final lobby or at least around their average ranked. We got Prestovans making it. You'd be surprised that this is the first time we've ever had Prestovan kind of up here. He's always been like the person on the fringes and barely making it. But I think his rapid improvement is starting to show. And I mean, it's not even really... Like, Prestovan's actually one of the longest tenured players now, which is kind of an interesting thing because we always kept talking about how he's like this new guy on the block. But now he's just been around for a while, and this was one of his best sets ever, by the way, in terms of his consistency and performance. So I think this top 8 is justified. You could probably argue that maybe a little bit higher, a little bit lower, if you consider the peaks of other people, but I was very impressed with Prestovan overall.
Yeah, eye test on Prestovan keeps getting better and better, by the way. One of the hardest workers that we have, and he gets better set over set over set. So... I don't think unless he runs out of steam, which it does not seem like he's going to. I don't think we've seen final form.
Mm-hmm. Dishsoap, you mentioned that Prestovan's on your short list. What is that exactly about Prestovan stands out to you as a player?
He's like a very, very active learner, which I don't think is necessarily like everyone in TFT. But whenever you talk to him, he'll like constantly ask questions to like pretty much anyone. And like even like playing the game himself, he's like very observant when he wants to be. I don't know if he's like very observant like when he's like on stream sometimes, but like when he's playing off stream, he's like super observant of like a lot of different stuff, and he's like actively like going out trying to find like advantages like constantly.
All right. Well, you heard it from the PP vouch himself. Prestovan top 8. Let's see if he can keep that momentum.
Prestovan is also a part of our study group now, and Prestovan is so good, except like this guy's also the biggest rat. Like, he actually hides all his texts and he doesn't tell anybody. And like, it's actually really
you just
frustrating.
keep saying everyone in your group is a rat. Usually like, oh,
Spencer's
a rat.
Prestovan is for sure. No, I mean, I didn't. I think I just need to go back and glaze Asa and Greya because they're not rats. But like,
I see.
Testament's like
I mean,
kicking rats.
they're basically rats because their information ends up leaking, man. Like it is what
No,
it
no,
is.
no. Leaking information is the right thing to do, in my opinion. Like hiding information is actually the wrong thing to do.
Wait,
Like
why?
I've
You
always
know that's
you
your
guys
opinion,
interpret rat
Socks. We'll
differently.
we'll never forget all the time.
Yeah, we'll never
just
forget.
Fucking leaked the tech.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never agree. I don't think me or like a lot of people will ever agree on this. Like, I think like like unless there's like unless I mean like just in a whole, I feel like you should try to like if you share tech with everyone, then they share tech with you, and then you get better and they get better. But like if you don't share with anyone, then like it's hard to improve, in my opinion. So I've always thought that. So like
Well,
I don't believe that's the rat behavior is like hiding tech, in my opinion.
Interesting.
And President's like biggest tech hider, and then like he DMs me about the tech, and I share it with him, and like it's so frustrating because like I know like I'm never gonna hear any tech from him. So yeah,
Fair enough. Wait, didn't you say that he shared you that Zyrtec?
yeah, but that's because the final day we were the only two people that were still alive, so we were prepping with each
But he
other.
did. And you called him a rat
No,
anyways?
no. Yeah, but because he
That's
had
not
to.
cool, man.
There was no other choice. Like
That's
he's like,
not cool, man.
no, we were at the time where like we were only two people that had any motivation to like VOD review. So like, yeah, he was like VOD reviewing with me.
Socks,
Like,
he's ruthlessly self-interested. Is that a fair description?
yeah,
Socks?
he's ruthlessly self-interested. It's like it's
Got
like
it,
I
got it.
kind of want to kick him out of our group because he's like, but I have acknowledged that he's very good.
But that's like me. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
you don't-
But
no,
there's just a lot of players.
but it's
A lot of
different.
players.
I don't like put the facade that like I'm trying to like join a group.
Yeah,
You know?
Dishsoap is an
No,
isolationist
yeah,
state,
no.
man. He doesn't fucking import or export anything.
No, Dishsoap is
I
fun
mean,
because
that's, I mean,
like
that's not true. I do like get information from other people, but yeah.
I mean, I haven't interacted with Dishsoap enough to actually know, to be honest. But I've interacted with Preston enough to know that he's a giga rat.
Well, it sounds like you got to do some house cleaning, buddy, because there might be some mice in your drawers.
I mean, he knows that. He fucking invites. Oh, are you a mouse? Cool, come over here.
We're more than halfway through. Let's go to the top half. These are the people who are noticeably. We actually had a major jump at this point in particular, and you'll start to see why. It might be a little low. I personally think it might be a little low. But at number 7, we have Replay. Replay actually is almost. He's almost patented a specific arc of having a slow first cup into like a heater rest of the season, and but. Part of it is that I do think that if you count for the fact that we have Worlds players that we haven't revealed, and you're looking at some of the best of the rest here, Replay at 7 kind of has to be, like, someone has to kind of be here on the outside. And I think that being said, it feels like he's got robbed based off the quality of his body of work. If you look at his season, it is very impressive. I think it's basically at that level of what happened in set 9 and set 10, and he somehow ranked lower. I think that's also indicative of how competitive the region is getting. I think it's like one of the things, like, you can have a set like this and it's still not even in the top 5 or even the top 6. But I don't want it to feel like one of these things where I think that he's at number 7 is like, oh, is he falling off? If anything, he locked in another great set and he missed Worlds so close. He was basically there behind JD Zielinski, right? And Setsuko for making the final lobby at regionals. And if he made final lobby, he'd be back at Worlds.
Yeah, I think I put him exactly 7th or maybe 6th on my own ranking, but I think there's like a really good argument for like putting him higher than like some of the other people that made Worlds. But
Yep.
I don't know. It just kind of like hard if you're just doing it based off just purely like the results, because there's a lot of people that have really good results.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is that so many of the best players did really well. The top of the Gangly gave me a stat coming into like the best AVP players were all the players who performed the best overall at regionals, which is very unusual, and it means that on average the resume at the top of this list is just stronger than we usually see. Like his resume would typically be higher than 7, but I have him 1 slot higher. I swapped him and the next person on the list, and I think that I don't know what the argument is, quite frankly, the other way on that one. I guess I do, but I think it's wrong. But it's tough. I mean, like, it's just there's a lot of really good resumes above him. What I will say about Replay is anyone who doesn't think he belongs in Tier 1 in North America at this point is trolling, and he definitely gets underrated by a lot of people.
I also bot reviewed replay on my own. I thought he played like flawlessly.
Wow.
This is like one of the going special days. I mean, like it's sad that he didn't make it, but like I thought he played like some of the best TFT I've ever seen. So
Wow, very high
I don't know where I
praise.
rated him, but he was very very.
Socks say this about like literally anyone that like does
He
well.
does.
That is true.
That is true.
I have known to be I have known to flip flop between saying this guy's crazy and this guy's a bot consistently, but like. I mean, like if he makes a crazy play, I'll be like, "Oh, this guy's crazy," and then later, like 2 seconds later, he makes a terrible play. Oh, this guy sucks ass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're very
Hot gold.
swingy. Your glaze is readily available for sure. Basically, anytime, whenever I've watched you watch someone, anytime someone does something that you wouldn't have thought of, you're like, this guy's a genius.
Actually, I do want to bring it up, but I think we'll bring it up sooner because he's later down the list. So.
Okay. At number 6, you kind of hinted towards it. It's a very weird ranking for Wajan Iverson because he had some pretty bad lows, and most notably like the end of regionals. Even though he had qualified based off his AVP, so a fantastic first 2 days into one of the worst day 3 performances we've ever seen, into a very poor Tactician's Crown performance, despite starting off pretty reasonably actually on the first day as well. And I think what ended up happening was he basically had 2 very, very bad days, this sets. I guess, and also his Tactician Cup number 1, I don't remember exactly what happened, but he had to qualify because he didn't make it through ladder. So kind of a shaky set based off his own standards. But I think that's just kind of the bar of what we set for him, because if you look at it, I mean, we consider Wajan to be in that top 3, top 4 players for so long. So of course we have higher expectations for him. And I mean, it was so rough to the point where Wajan didn't even want to do an interview, like kind of like throughout the end of regionals into worlds, because it was just not like a good set of games for him. What he said was like the games were unplayable, and I would trust his word on that. I don't think he's a person that would just like, fraudulently try to hide luck behind some of his results. But
I mean, it might be true for him, but like, I mean, something you just say that as a TFT player, and it's like probably your fault. Like,
okay.
Speaking from like my experience, like whenever I say like the games are unplayable, like you could have done something, man. Like speaking from like my own past mistakes, yeah.
Fair enough. I will say one thing is that Wajan has one of the things that's really impressive is he did join the 3 Worlds clubs from North America, and we only have Socks there as well.
And this is a harder going 8, 9, 10. This is, I mean, these are harder sets. The set is getting more and more competitive, so it's actually more and more impressive making worlds in the ways that he has.
Yes.
Easily, I watched him play not a ton this set, but a medium amount more than I watched a lot of other people play. I never felt like he had his feet under him this set. I just don't think. I think that on average he was playing weaker TFT than we're used to seeing from him.
Okay. And I think it's reflected in some of his stats. These are uncharacteristically low for him as well, across the board. So we'll see.
Wait. You guys should have posted Game Lee's little tag for him for his World Prep tag.
What was it?
It was like, which Wajan's going to show up?
Oh wow. I didn't think that you would actually think that was that funny, but I
I
true.
just thought it was funny because I mean, like the first day he's just 1-1-1-1, the second day he's just 8-8-8. So I mean, it happens. So
that was actually kind of how he was in set 7 when he first started appearing in LCQ. He was kind of a super first or 8th player. So I guess unfortunately a little bit of that showed through. Don't worry, he'll be back. And I have a full confidence that Wajan will make it 4 Worlds eventually. Still looking for his second, but right now this is one of the most consistent players that we've had. This is the lowest that we've had him in quite some time. Actually, that's not true. In set 10, we actually have him set at rank 6. It's Setsuko. Setsuko at number 5. His stats are outrageous, and he was just 1 point away from being able to make it to the final lobby, which, again, people say that if you make it to the final lobby, you're basically guaranteed. Until one fateful kiss, where Pakigam able to get a Ari HP buff on his fortune cash out when he rolled a 6, end up granting Pakigam that final lobby spot, and all of a sudden Setsuko got his world's berth ripped out from his hands.
So the thing is, I ranked him 3rd, and people fixate on the Ari kiss as the reason why he didn't make it, but that's not the only factor. It was like 3 or 4 different factors that all had to go wrong for him not to make it. I think if you pull up stage 3, on the last game, there's probably a less than a 1% chance he doesn't make it. Socks had to not win, Pocky had to not get kissed, Setsuko had to not have like he had like really really bad matchmaking at the end of the game. Like he went fifth, but he easily could have gotten third just off matchmaking. It was
Dude,
like
apparently, yeah.
it was like the closest like swing I've ever seen to like make a final lobby. And if he makes a final lobby, like you guys are ranking him like higher. So
It's true.
I don't know. I don't think this is like a fair ranking. I put him 3 personally.
To continue Dishsoap's thing, apparently one of my friends, like one of my real life friends, was like I think like Masters like GM watching Setsuko. In his last game against me, we were in the same lobby, and I hired out of my mind to actually make it to the final lobby. I was playing the Nico Hero Augment, and I hit like on like 3-5 or something. And apparently he fights me, and then he fights my ghost, and then he fights me back to back to back. And like
3 rounds in a row?
Yeah, it was like me, and then like someone else, and then like and then someone else, and then my ghost, and then me again, and then he something like that. But he fights me three times in the span and loses like 45 HP out of thin air. It was so unfair. It was the only outcome that he would have not made worlds, but it was completely bullshit.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that specific part.
I didn't know either. It was just my friend. He was watching from
That's
his
wild.
perspective. Yeah. I mean, Setsuko should definitely be like number 2, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
so,
he
it is what it
should
is.
be higher probably. The tough thing is that the people above that made worlds had very good sets overall. It's not like they like just made, a lot of times we have kind of randos make worlds who like didn't, kind of limp their way. We do. People who like limp their way into regionals and then they have a good, regionals works out for them and they make worlds and they don't do much at worlds. And I never really like personally value that one worlds appearance that highly, but like everyone above him was a good known good player who had a good set and made worlds, and like it's kind of the tough thing is because this ranking is specifically supposed to be like heavily results oriented. It's hard, but yeah, obviously he probably should have been in the top 3.
All good. I think that's just the nature of how slim some of these margins are. Let's go ahead and bring number 4. One of those players that we've mentioned having a great set, his best set ever, is Pokigam. And Pokigam had, kind of his move is to do very well early and then kind of peter off and then kind of come back for regionals. And this time for regionals, he actually had a good regionals run. He's been making regionals in the past, been kind of flaming out. But this set, something clicked for him. I think he was talking about how he's thinking a lot deeper about the game than before. And it's like he actually really enjoys things like encounters, which was really surprising because a lot of people don't like that. Pokigam's part of your group, Socks, right?
Yeah. I study a lot with Pocky, and I mean we've been talking a lot about different aspects of TFT, and I mean he's definitely very very good, very very good. And there was this one game that me and Dishsoap were about reviewing, and I want to bring this up right now because when I saw this, I thought he was like the Giga Genius of all Giga Genius players. So
sure.
So I'm big on like trying to like manipulate the fortune table, and what happened to Pocky was that he played fortune on 2-1, and then he got his streak broken on 2-3. So he had 2, and he was offered to cash out at 2. And most people, every single time that they have 2, they'll always cash out and just take a gold and restart the streak, right? But Pocky actually kept the 2. Because later down the road, he knows that if he rolls exactly a 6, 7, or 8, that extra 2 fortune luck will actually bump up to the next fortune threshold. So instead of getting a 20, he'll get a 30. Or instead of getting a 30, he'll get a 40. And like it made a huge difference in the game that he played. And I was like, oh my god.
No, I mean he went like 6th, but like, did we actually ask him about this? Because
No,
like
I didn't. But
no, because the thing is, I watched him and I felt like he made the decision too fast for him to know. So I thought he just didn't know. But like, I didn't ask him.
Me and Pocky have talked about this specifically in the past, like this type of like
I see.
this type of it was like it's not like a thing you think about. It's like a thing that you either know or you don't, right? Like, and Pocky knew, like, because most people.
I mean, I just want to ask him because like. In my point of view, like he literally like instantly clicked like raise the stakes. Like I feel like if you knew that, you would like think about it for like half a second to do like the mental math. So,
no, because if you knew exactly 1, you would just click.
I mean, there's definitely a possibility,
We can just ask him. He's in chat.
Yeah.
Okay, we can ask him. Oh yeah,
see the math beforehand. Okay,
there we go. See, he's a beast.
Yeah,
and then the very next game. He like we like the best spot ever. Me and Dishsoap both agreed on like XYZ, and then just like Pocky literally took the worst line and pressed like A, and it was like the worst game I've ever seen in my entire life. So
I do think Pocky every now and then has those cook too hard, fire exposing the kitchen, egg on the face moment. But I found fewer of those this set, and also I think things were finally clicking for him in a pretty meaningful way. And he actually had a pretty good Worlds run. At 17th, he might be like, but he was actually right there competitive towards the end. And it was at one point, when all hope was lost, it was like, oh, we might get, Pocky Pocky and Socks and Dishsoap through. But then unfortunately, some kind of weird curse affected us on day 2 where that stopped it from happening.
Okay. Don't take this the wrong way. I think he's a really good player, and I'm just trying to help him out. But I think he kind of needs to work on his itemization, because
interesting.
There's like a lot of slams I disagreed with.
I also agree with this. So I watched Pocky for NA regionals and worlds, and I agree that he made enough mistakes. He could have made it out either way, but who doesn't make mistakes? I made so many mistakes, so whatever.
Interesting.
But that's a very big tip, because I think if Pocky wanted to work at that and shore up some of the weak points in his game, his high points have always been really, really good.
It's fascinating, because I thought that maybe this was a few sets ago since I last talked to him. I think it was set 8, but I remember at one point Pocky prided himself in some of his itemization skills. So it's really fascinating.
Well, some of it, so I think what he's been historically good at is understanding item economy in certain lines better than other people. So I think that he, for example, he was really early scale score and cloak valuer on that patch, and got a lot of edge on that. I think that's actually historically been a lot of his sweet spot, and where he's found edge against other players is 3-cost melee in particular. I think because he tends to understand those lines in deeper ways, the itemization of them, the boards that transition into them in a stable way, the positioning of them, he's always been really, really good at. So he has a lot of elements to his game that are elite, where he's definitely outperforming other people in the field. But he does also have weak moments, and it sounds like weak points to his game. I've never noticed the itemization thing specifically, but that makes a ton of sense.
Okay.
I mean, literally no one here is bad at itemization, but it happened in enough of the games that I watched from him that I think it's probably something he could work on.
I mean, I think I just wanted to double down with this upset. In both NA regionals and in Worlds, there was just multiple times he just didn't have a 3-item carry when he should have. Multiple games.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
In NA regionals, there was a game where he had a Moo 3 for 2 stages, and he had multiple opportunities to make the 3-item Moo, and just kept the 2-item Moo until the end of the game, and then he went second because of 2-item Moo.
Maybe binary.
I mean, but the point is that that also happened at Worlds, and I'm sure he had a good reason for it.
It feels close bad, just flame me. It's not even supposed to be flame.
It's not
I'm just trying to
cares.
Yeah.
This is I'm just
trying to give my insight.
No, the things that
definition of constructive feedback.
How can you say Setsuko is good if you don't say someone else did something wrong?
True.
How do you know that Setsuko being good is actually genuine? You don't know that, right? There we go.
It's true. But I'm really happy for him. Genki's really happy for him. And this guy is probably really happy for him as well. Number 3, the podium. We got Greya, who had a very strong start by just narrowly missing out final lobbies twice, and then winning the America's Golden Spatula, just straight up taking regionals. And his effective rookie set, he did compete in set 5, but if you don't really count set 3 for replay, you're not really counting set 5 for Greya, who played under a name Melton Heart back then, or set 4 and set 5 rather. And so a fantastic set for him. We just don't really know that much. He's still a mysterious player. Socks has talked a lot.
I talk to him all day. As much as a human can talk to someone apparently, but he's always in the core of our group is, in my opinion, me, Asa, Greya, and Goobums, and he's always in there.
And you think really highly of his play, right?
Yes.
Ace.
Yeah, I think really highly of his play. I think he's very, very good. I think I mean I don't know how to describe or anything like that, but he's Dishsoap-esque in my opinion, even though he says he's more Milk-esque. But he's definitely just making the correct decisions all the time.
He sounds a little like Milk too. I'm just putting
he got giga scammed at Worlds. I don't know exactly how much it affected him. For those of you who don't know, he lived in an area that got hit by a pretty gnarly storm, and he was without power for multiple days in the week leading up to regionals or in the week leading up to Worlds, and it was getting very stressful. we were trying to find him like places where he could theoretically compete in like Austin and Dallas so that he could play at all. So I mean, I know that his power came back, right, and he was able to play from his home, but like that's an incredible disruption to your flow in the lead up to the biggest tournament of your life.
Changing your sleeve schedule.
It's
and everything
such a big
that.
scam. It's not even like it's not even debatable.
It's so unfair.
Yeah, it's very clearly.
But
well, despite all that, he still made a fantastic run, and I think third here is very justified. If you kind of like look at the body of work, I mean, very consistent. His ladder performance was also fantastic all throughout, and I want to see him continue to play. I think the big things that Pocket Mosley said that Greya has vocally said that he doesn't like playing TFT competitively very much. I hope that changes because he said.
I think that's a lie. So I'm just put that out there. So whatever. Yes.
I want to see him stream. I want to see him play. I'm sick of everyone telling me how good he is.
This guy is getting competitive.
I want to watch him play TFT.
No, this guy's getting competitive. Like, no, don't let these guys like fucking lie to you, man. Like,
okay, thank you, Socks, thank you.
I mean, isn't it just in like insurance if you don't actually do well? Like, you could just say like you were having fun, you know?
True.
Yeah,
true.
but you should not be allowed to like give them insurance. You know, like what is this?
I don't know. I never really got that much of a chance to like actually watch his like point of view that much, just because like he hasn't streamed. Like it's kind of hard to. So really only have like experience like going against him in ladder and stuff, but I pretty much always ranked him like high in like all my rankings, literally just off the ladder. And like, I know some people like say like you shouldn't like rank off ladder, and I know a lot of people do rank off ladder. But the thing is like, there's a difference between like even being like top 5 and having the stats he did on ladder. I don't really think people realize that. Like having a like above 72% top 4 rate is like insane.
Yeah.
So it's just like a tier higher than what most people would consider like good ladder stats.
Yeah. At one point, he actually just had the best ladder stats, better than you. I mean, I think part of it is because you play a lot of games on streams and whatnot, but but I mean, he had the best ladder stats this set for a large stretch of time. Before he eventually
I imagine Dishsoap, if you were doing it off stream and trying to compute those numbers, that you could probably get close, but I don't think it's a guarantee you can gap those numbers, right?
Not really. 'Cause, I mean, okay, a lot of it is like he didn't have that many games. Like he actually had like a very small amount of games, which is probably the biggest part of it. But I don't think it's much of a streaming thing because I played a decent amount off stream, and I honestly don't think I played that much worse on stream at this point. So I don't think it's like that's the difference.
Because we're getting to it soon enough, but we're at our top 2. And we have 2 people we haven't revealed yet, but I'm pretty sure this is the least surprising part of the rankings. Yeah. As is tradition, we usually like having the other person talk about the other guy. So we're about to bring up number 2, which is, surprise, surprise, Mismatched Socks. Dishsoap, talk to me about Socks and his set.
I mean, obviously he had an insane set throughout like the whole way through. He like kind of developed his own line that a lot of people followed, even though it wasn't the best. But he still had found a way to get success.
Wait, sorry, I just wanted to say, are those 7 results right, or is that am I confused?
Is what right?
Oh, actually, no. These are the results from Greya's.
I carried over. Sorry, it's okay. It's okay. No
you tied for first. Let's put it that way for American Ghost Badger. How about that?
Lamau. Okay, got it.
All right. Yeah. My bad.
Oh. Yeah. Anyways, you've always found like your own way to make stuff work, and I think you see the game fairly differently than like what I do, and I think that is an advantage. And a lot of the time. Yeah, I don't know. You just see the game very, very differently. You're like, you definitely put a lot of work like in the minor stuff, because I know like so many people like don't really think about that stuff. You gave me a couple like positioning texts I never really thought about. Like you talk about the Azir one, but something we didn't talk about was there was this one thing where you could put Senna on a certain hex that would counter middle Amumu and middle Lux, where you could snipe the Lux if the stars aligned. But it's not even like the stars aligned, because that's like the default Lux positioning a lot of the time in the mid game. So like even like having like the presence of mind to like look out for that and like try to reproduce it in some way, like no one is really doing that. So yeah.
All right. While I think Socks' results here, because it's important for me personally to get this right, Bryce, talk to me about Socks.
I mean,
I just posted the thing, by the way, because like for some reason, like I want to briefly show it off because no one knows about this tech. Yeah, like I don't think anyone knows about this tech eventually. So I feel like if you wanted to just pull it up on this thing, it's only reproducible from these two exact spots. And it's like I just want to like show it off, there's some homework done.
I love it. I don't know if they could pull it up this second. Dan, do you
South
want to?
plays.
I can if you give me 15 seconds. So I changed Socks' thing. I got you.
Yeah.
And now you want me to do what exactly?
He wants you to pull up the screenshot that he just dropped, the builder, so he can show off the positioning tech.
So I never got to use it, but it is what it is.
For sure.
And then I forgot to add that it's like even more insane that you're doing this with like a full-time job and family, because I mean I only have to do TFT. So I feel like it's somewhat expected of me to do decently well every set, because like this is literally what I do like all the time, and I know you don't have the luxury of doing that, so being able to put up very good results is like very impressive still.
What am I looking at? I pulled it up, Socks.
So if Mumu's in that exact position and Lux is in that exact position, putting your center in that exact position hits Lux every time, and the vice versa for the other side as well. Like it's only in this exact formation does it hit backline. It doesn't hit backline any other hex.
Interesting.
And then what you do is you like put the center in the back left, so you bait them to move the Lux there, and then you swap.
Yeah. So like well I don't know the setup like what just upset, but yeah.
I mean I never got to do it because I didn't really play Senna after I learned this, but I probably would have used it
for sure.
It's cool tech.
I mean, look, this is so Socks. Like the fact that Socks like really wants to pull up this positioning tech, because this has always been.
Yeah, I mean, this tech came from Marcel P's a clip that Asa clipped, and he showed it to me, and then like Asa. But the thing is that Asa can't really take credit for it because he never explored it. He was like, he didn't figure it out. I took the time to 1v1 against myself. It took me like 15-20 minutes to actually figure it out. So he can't he can't claim it because like he just has a clip. I'm the only person that I was able to figure it out. But it's Asa's tech.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of us vaguely knew that Senna was able to hit backline, but like putting in the effort to like find something reproducible and finding a setup for it is like the actual valuable thing for part of this. Like knowing that Senna can hit the backline doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So saying like you like just test something out is like, I feel like that's like doing it a service, because that's like the whole thing. Yeah.
Right,
I love it.
right.
But also.
No, go for it, Socks.
I was gonna say, I mean, obviously, Asa's just giving me a hard time, but like, the fact that Asa shared with me this in the first place is the reason why I was able to test this out, right? Like if I didn't see a clip of this happening in a real game, I'll be like, who cares? It's just fictional, right?
Yeah.
But like seeing a clip happening in the real world, like I would actually go ahead and explore this. I have done this for multiple different things. I've done this for duelist positioning on multiple different occasions, to try to get that small duelist edge. For like weird positioning tags such as like backline duelists and stuff. But the only reason why I would do it is, Asa told me about it. But a lot of the inspiration does come from, like watching fights and seeing, this is weird, and then like try to explore that a little further, right? So
I love it. I love it.
Well, so look, I mean, Socks, I never thought we would have you back here, to be totally candid with you. And I like the thing that made me fall in love with TFT the first time around, I think, was probably like watching GV8 play. But the thing that like really crystallized my love of TFT was watching you play, because you were just what Dishsoap said about seeing the game differently. Like that is so fucking clear from anyone who's ever watched you play when it's like really clicking for you when you're playing one of your best games. I made a comment earlier that like I'm sad about the TFT history that was lost on your best game, and I think I said something along the lines of there's like 5-ish people that I feel that way about. Like if I missed one of their best games, I feel like I really missed, and I'm pretty sure you're the literal top of that list for me, like in the world. Like if we missed one of your best games, I feel like we're getting cheated by not seeing it, because you do see the game so differently that probably what's happening in that game is not only insanely impressive, but something that like literally no one else would have done in your spot. spot.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think I don't think my set was like that amazing or anything like that. I like I said, I definitely played some of my best games, but you know, I made a lot of mistakes. So like overall, I think, you know, like I wasn't playing like you know, like something crazy, but like you know, I did want to say one thing about my run that makes me like a little bit sad is that so like by all means I should have made it to the final lobby. I was in a really good spot to make it in the final lobby, but the right before the day of I got a 2 hour power outage right before the tournament, and I was trying to find a backup, I only ended up getting like 2.5 hours of sleep because of the stress and stuff. I'm not trying to make it public. I'm not trying to like blame it on myself or anything like that. But I made like one huge detrimental error, which is that like you know I had prepped coffee the day before, and I thought that would keep me up. But pretty much by the end of game 2, I was like already falling asleep.
Ugh.
And I had totally forgot this is like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And my wife had actually bought me like a 4 can of Monster. And if I drink it, I know I would have made it to the final lobby. I drank it at the end of game 4, and my game 5 and game 6, even though I went 6th and 1st, I played like some of the best TFT I've ever played in both of those games. I should have gone 1-1, but like I like you know I was just a little bit not focused enough to go 1-1. But if I literally just drank it a little bit earlier, I would have. I'm pretty sure my score should have been 1-1-1-1. And the sad thing is that like when I was voting with Dishsoap, we were talking about some of my spots, and like if I voted with Dishsoap like even the day before, there was a Zoe game I could have turned from a third into a first, and like there's so many. I'm pretty sure I lost like. I'm pretty sure like I've never felt this way, but I'm pretty sure in the first time in the 50, I think I lost like 10 to 15 points in one tournament. Like I've never felt like I lost this many points. So by all means, I should have made it to the final lobby. So
Got it.
Sorry for laughing. Like this is like probably like pretty sad for you, but I did not think like it was gonna be a monster diff. I thought it was gonna be some other diff. I don't know. I don't know why I found that so funny, but
I mean, it's pretty funny. Also, chat with the perfect hashtag ad reaction. This is the most organic monster sponsorship opportunity ever. Please,
it was
Monster,
so sad.
Can you make Socks the first monster sponsored TFT player so he can quit his job in full time TFT?
I think you can make that happen, Bryce.
I just wish the time between regionals and worlds was 2 weeks. Like.
It's
I don't know.
Too fast, man. It's too fast.
Like just giving people more time to prep, making sure everyone is on like a good sleep schedule.
Oh, and I want to say the same thing about Greya and Pocky. Greya for sure gets the bye because like he literally got hit by a hurricane, and he, like there's no way he could like prep the necessary rest. But like Pocky, we were talking about it. He was like falling asleep by the end of game 3. Every game 4 and onwards that me and Dishsoap watched were like atrocious. But like partially it's just he's literally probably falling asleep on the chair. I don't know how Dishsoap was able to do it, but day 1 I was like Omega Adrenaline super high, but like day 2 like I kind of crashed. So
oh, I mean I went 888 because I got like 3 hours of sleep as well. I was running off like pure adrenaline for like the final 2 games.
Just to be clear, in anytime EU whines about fucking ping diff and that's played on any server, I would take the ping and normal hours every single time.
Yeah, people don't realize how big of a diff it is, but like you literally have to flip your sleep schedule in 1 week, which is absurd.
Less than 1 week. Less than 1 week. You have 3 days.
Less than 3 days. That's fucking absurd. Like that's
it's actually impossible to do successfully. Like you can't.
I know because Goobums was doing the coach with me, and he was like so amped because he's like, yeah, it's gonna be good. And Goobums was like, no, I'll be fine. I can change my sleep schedule, no problem. And he was like dead. And he's like, bro, I'm just sitting here like I can't imagine competing.
I'm pretty sure I did have a monster. I'm not gonna lie. Actually.
Wow, this whole
it's a monster diff.
Podcast
it's a monster diff.
Holy!
Thank you. I'm down. You know, normally I'm a Red Bull guy, but I'm down to convert. you can switch me.
I also wanted to say one last thing. I don't know if this would have been cheating or not, but my last 2 games, if I went 1-1, I would have made it. And I know that Greya for sure was like he wanted me to make it. And he was the strongest person in the lobby. I was the second strongest person in the lobby. And he was playing Fortune. And he was like 1 life Fortune. He had like unbeatable board, godlike board. And against me, like he also had a golden remover. and like
saw.
against, huh?
We saw.
Yeah, and like against me, like there was like in his like he had all his items on the bench, and he loaded into the fight with me, and like it was pretty clear that he was like not trying to like beat me. So he was like putting his items like one by one, like 10 seconds into the fight,
Yeah,
he's still putting
slowly,
items
yeah.
on.
Sus.
I mean, like his war was so unbeatable that it didn't matter.
I remember.
Like,
He sold his
The
Lux
fact that
3.
you're ratting
yeah.
on him live on the
Weird.
podcast
And he won anyways.
is sus as fuck, by the way, Socks. I would have just taken that. Your homie tries to do you a solid, you take it to the grave, bro.
Yeah.
but, like, I don't know if it's like actually legal or anything like that in like real tournament.
It doesn't
But, like-
sound ideal.
Okay,
man.
I'll just put this forward. I don't want anyone doing that for me ever.
Yeah,
Like-
don't. Yeah, it's
like-
not worth it.
No, but
I don't
he
know.
was literally he had nothing to play for at the time, right? Like
Yeah, but
like-
still, that's you don't want it that way, and you don't want any asterisk on it or any cloud over it.
I see.
It's not okay. He shouldn't have
Not
done
okay.
it.
I see.
I don't want to give like I'm trying to move on from this point, but like it's not good. He should.
I see. I
No
mean, the
worries.
thing is that regardless of cloud, I don't care. I would have, like, if it's my friend in the tournament and I had nothing to play for, I would do it. I would do it personally. Like, I don't care if any negative backlash until they make it like a soft rule about it. Like, who cares?
I don't think
So-
you're allowed to, Socks. So
Okay, well, anyways, I might still
You
do
would,
it.
I
Bro,
misheard you.
okay.
You wouldn't do it, right? You said you wouldn't do it. Is that
I
what
would do it. I'm doubling down. I don't care.
Worst client on stand ever, man. You just take him off, man. No further questions, Your Honor. All right, man. That was just for Socks. At number 1, a really shocking reveal. We have the man, the myth, the legend. We got Dishsoap, the reigning world champion. What a hell of a season, man. 3rd at Tactician Cup number 1, 2nd at Tactician Cup number 2, top 8 at the Summit Invitational.
You skipped Tactician's
Cup.
Cup number 3, by the way.
I mean, that one's
when
not
I
even
paid-
important.
When I paid
Okay.
like $1 million from in a fantasy draft, by the way.
Yes, but
Unlucky.
That is actually almost another notch in his belt because he did have setback. It wasn't
he did.
just an easy rainbow road for him to walk through. He had his spot ripped from him by Socks of all people who's on the podcast. And that's a really easy way for it to knock someone off their game because there's a short turnaround between Tactician Cup and regionals. It's only like a couple weeks. And so, so the one thing that stood out to me the most to you, Dishsoap, is not just, of course, your improvement that Bryce has kind of cataloged, and of course the results piling in, but also I feel like you've actually had several setbacks. The qualifier points, the day number 2 where you went 888s. And I think that you showed a lot of steps forward, not just in your actual TFT play, but also your mental play. So I think that's been a huge thing that has led to your result. And just look at this ascent as well. Like, actually, you've gone straight from the very bottom where you first introduced at set 6 all the way to the top. Do you remember when you were happy just to
These stats are wrong, by the way. These stats are wrong.
Wait,
Just
which
saying.
ones? For your previous
Like-
ranks or your stats?
No, like the stats, like the AVP and stuff.
Are they?
Wait, what?
These
Yeah.
stats are wrong. He was a 3.7.
Yeah, they're wrong.
not
They're wrong.
3.9. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely wrong.
Okay, I might be looking at the
Okay,
wrong
it-
document then.
Yeah, I was like, why? Who's this guy? Why
And
is
his,
he so
and
bad?
his win rate is 21% as well, by the way.
You know what it
Holy-
might be? These are stats that might not be updated from the
No,
end
no,
of the
I'm pretty
set.
sure
Gangly doesn't
those
factor
exact-
in worlds. I'm looking at Gangly's sheet from not world that doesn't include worlds, and he's a
Listen,
3.7.
Bryce, I'm just gonna say that I spent 4 fucking hours prepping the show.
You did great.
And all I did was I sent the Canva and I was like, just anyone take a look at it. These are the rankings, and anybody at one point could have checked it and helped me out, man.
Hey, I'm not. This is not me flaming you. I'm not Dan. I would never flame you in this spot. You're a one-man fucking production army. You built this show. You produced it. You run it, and you host at the same time. My glazing for the only person I would glaze harder than Dishsoap is you. So yeah, I'm not trying to get on your case or anything. I'm just saying what it is so that people have the actual numbers.
Sure, fair enough. I'm overreacting. It's also I partially do. Actually, you're right. 3.9 is actually kind of low given his actual results. But kind of getting back a little bit on track there, not to make it about that. Really well done, Dishsoap. I don't have as much glaze as much in the tank. I know Bryce and Socks have a lot of glaze ready to go. I even have a little GIF ready to go. So Bryce, take it away, buddy.
Here, let me go first since
Go for it,
like
Fox.
I don't know because I feel like Bryce probably is gonna go last. I don't know if that's.
I'm gonna have a lot to say for sure.
But, okay, so like basically, I bought a review with Dishsoap, and like first off, for being like a person who learns the game by himself, his knowledge is fucking incredible. Like there's a like he gave me a tip where like in my games I was playing Zoe and I like was prioritizing Gunblade because I thought Gunblade heals off the ghostly procs. He literally told me right away that it didn't. And like it literally costed me 2 placements right there. But like the fact that Dishsoap knows this, when literally I've been fucking talking with Greya, Asa, all these guys like the Goons. I've literally been talking with them constantly, and we've been talking about how good Gunblade is on Zoe this whole time, because like it procs on ghostly procs, and Dishsoap just knows that it just doesn't. Like that's fucking absurd. And the second thing is that
Bro, that
I've been
like okay. Sorry for like stopping the glazed trend, but like that is like a pretty like common thing. That's like as common as like you flaming like EU players for not knowing how like Lux works, because they knew about Gunblade Zoe.
I mean, in that case, I'm probably bad, but you know, whatever. But okay. The point is that and then also the second part was that the second part of my glazing part was that so I've been bot reviewing like a lot of people and you know there was a few people like who I thought like were really good and almost made no mistakes. And like when I bot reviewed with Dishsoap, I bot reviewed his VODs with him. I genuinely thought he lost 0 placements. I don't think I've ever bot reviewed a single set of 6 games ever in my like his entire history of like playing TFT, watching TFT. I've never seen someone not lose a single placement the entire 6 games, at least from my perspective. I know I've lost at least like 3 placements on the first day, and like Dishsoap literally lost 0, and I think that's just, like completely unbelievable in a set of 6 games. So like, I to me like you can't actually get higher respect than that, which is yeah.
Amazing. And now Bryce is about to drop the double.
I'm pretty sure I lost like 2 placements. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. There's always.
I mean, the fact that he can identify 2 places where he lost placements is like even crazier than like than dropping 0 placements. Like, what even is this?
I love it. Okay, so look, I've obviously glazed Dishsoap a lot, so it's hard to come up with new things to say. So I thought on this one for a little bit. I was like, what is it that I really want to say about this man, and why I find it all so impressive?
Prepared.
Yeah, and so I didn't like come up with a speech, but I came up with the framework, which is I went back to the very beginning of the podcast when we did the report card section, which we did for like a set and a half. One of the legendary episodes is actually the pilot where Socks basically fights the report card tooth and nail for the entire time while we're trying to use it. It's great. And in that, what I tried to capture is all the different ways in which I think people can express skill in TFT, try to be as comprehensive as possible. And I broke it down into 3 categories: knowledge, macro, and execution. There's also some like X factor stuff related to consistency and mental performance, for example. But like the core of the TFT of it is really those 3 buckets. And I broke it down into early game, mid game, late game, AD proficiency, AP proficiency, reroll proficiency, win streak proficiency, loss streak proficiency, econ management, game awareness and scouting, positioning, and roll downs and transitions, all the different things. And the whole point of it was compare this person to someone else in the top 15. Where do they rank? And I'm pretty sure that if you were to do an honest accounting of every single one of those breakdowns of Dishsoap against the 10 best players in North America, that he would be considered elite in every single one of them at this point. And I don't think that was always true. I think that he historically did have areas where he was obviously good relative to even a good challenger player, but where other players were finding an opportunity to take advantage of him in some way within the game, something that he wasn't doing as well as them. And I think that he is methodically recognized those parts of his game and improved them and turned some of them into strengths. I've talked a lot about his positioning. I think that there's an incredibly simple kind of mental map that Dishsoap has established for his positioning so that he efficiently gains edge while using a fraction of the time, and he basically just knows whether on a particular board the most important thing is to get something that he wants from his board or take something away from the opponent's board based on the matchup. He picks the one thing and he always gets it. So if his board really needs a condition to succeed, he will get it. And if he needs to take something away from them to stop them from succeeding, he will get it. And it allows him to use very little of his brain energy on positioning because he knows the matchups in advance, but always find edge. And it was beautiful to watch. Really, really fun to study the VODs and see him find edge there. And he does all of this with this unfucking believable overlay of how do I do well in all these parts of the game while reducing variance. And he makes every single decision consciously to try to take Mort's hand off the wheel and make it so that he will achieve consistent performances game over game, tournament over tournament, and that's why the results are so fucking good, man, because he is able to do it so consistently well that he can then use all the other ways that he's better than you to score more placements, advance on days, and perform. So look, I said at the time it was as close to perfect TFT as you're ever going to see when it's clicking for him. That was 2 sets ago. It's even more fucking close to perfect now. It's still not perfect. There is always opportunity to improve placements, but this guy is hungry and still looking to improve and chase those placements. Is why I think he will be the first repeat world champ in TFT history, because I think he's that good and I think he wants it. And that, in the GOAT conversation, there is no GOAT yet, but GOAT behavior, it's never just about being the best. It's never been about that. There are so many raw players who maybe if they had the work ethic and the drive and the hunger would have gotten there. And Dishsoap is the first person I have seen that has both. His raw TFT horsepower is insane, and he works at his game as hard as anybody that I've ever seen. It's so fucking impressive. Take your victory lap, Dishsoap.
Thanks.
Woo! Damn.
That was a lot.
Right. Please. Oh my god. Bryce, I actually tracked every 30 seconds. I added an additional layer of glaze to your W glaze. So
The
that
multiplier.
How long was it?
it was like a little over a few minutes. It was a little over a few minutes. We got we got a 7 combo counter. My god.
Wait, dude, no, the way I wanted to say something else. Not only is Dishsoap actually crazy in game and like thinking about the game, he's also like kind of like crazy at reaching out. Like multiple times he reached out in the past, and like, you know, after I've been eliminated or something like that, or I don't really care about my attack. Like, who cares? And like Dishsoap's like, oh, you know, like, oh, what was this thing you were talking about? And then like I just tell him, and like I don't know if it's actually helped him or anything like that, but like. Like, you know, like in the previous set, there was something about like Nyla. You position Nyla and you get the defenders to taunt around them, and then Nyla kills the defenders or something like that. And like I feel like this is one of those only few people that would go out of their way to actually like. It's like he's humble. He's like willing to ask people for help. Like there's other people that are willing to do that, but like this is like it's like actually like kind of very humbling as well.
He just wants to keep learning and keep getting better. There's no ego about it.
I mean, this was one flaw is that he's like too competitive. You know, like what even is this? Like this guy's gonna burn out before. I mean, I would like at some point you gotta burn out, right? Like you can't be like you can't just have like infinite lifespan playing TFT. Like when is just the way?
It's hikey like starting to set in. Like I might take like a month off into 12 or something. We'll see.
You for sure should. Like it's you're never gonna get a better chance than do it right now. Like this is when you can take your break.
But yeah.
I need you for TFT Academy. Don't take that long of a break. But yeah.
My bad.
I mean, I would still be available to like update. But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like one thing about my game that I think is like kind of weak, but doesn't really get punished at Worlds. Is I think I'm like actually like pretty slow on average. Like literally just like with like last second like swapping and stuff. Like I think I'm like actually really slow, but I don't get punished with it because of like the ping. But I don't even know how you like fix that, because like isn't it just like you're slow because you're slow?
No, you could actually do like Osu or something. You could do like aim training stuff. It'd be kind of weird, but if your mouse precision gets faster and cleaner, then you probably could swap cleaner.
Yeah, maybe.
But
yeah.
Kovacs.
But it's like it's actually just like a ping diff though, because like you will never like lose to someone like that has like a plus 200 ping on you on a swap.
You say that, but Prodan and Price literally highlight. I had a Zephyr and I had the Ash encounter, and I knew who I was fighting for like maybe like 3 stages. I missed Zephyr for like 3 stages in a row. I finally landed one on a ghost.
Yeah.
They clipped it, and they were celebrating.
Yeah, because you missed so many Zephyrs with the Ash encounter.
Oh my god, it was so bad, bro.
like what I try to do now to like kind of make up for it is like I don't like look for when they swap their like carry. I look for when they like swap their like main support unit, because usually they move them together.
Mm-hmm.
So like I like try to get like the soul read, but like I'm pretty sure like I should just get faster, but I don't know how. Yeah,
it's okay. One thing at a time. For now, focus. It's honestly not that impressive. I mean, first of all, the fact that you can win the world championship without that shows that it's not that high of a priority. But if you're trying to improve that, we can actually talk about ways to improve that. I have some ideas.
Love it, Coach Dan.
All right. These are the power rankings in its totality. Congratulations to everyone that made it to the top 15. Dishsoap, Socks, Gray Apaki, Setsuko, Wajan Replay, Press Event, Philip, JD, Milk, Cam, Spencer, Asa, Malala, and Bruce. Thank you to our panelists for taking time. And that's not easy because a lot of people are busy off season. Gangu's at Evo. Nature's just prepping for next set. I mean, Bryce is super busy. Like, I mean, I made a joke earlier. It was a bad joke. I'm sorry, Bryce, but I know you're super busy. So like all these people, Dishsoap, T-Lights, Bosso Skills, Malala, Preston, Kai, Rain, Goobums, and Socks. Thank you guys for submitting. And these are the people who were all part of our ballot. To close out the show, we do fantasy review. There's only one thing we did for Worlds. Don't worry, Bryce. I actually need to go back and check, but I do feel like this was worth bringing up. We did a caster fantasy where I won and I cleared everybody because somehow I got like 3 people in the final lobby. But I just want to kind of put one final note that chat is greater than Goobums. In fact,
yes,
undrafted and chat outperform Goobums. So one final last placement for Goobums to wrap the set, which I think is the only appropriate way to wrap up set 11.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
I actually wanted to like say this earlier, but I guess this is like a good time. Like, I feel like you guys for a minute need to like step up. Like don't like consider yourselves just like to be the best by default, because I think the gap is like kind of closing like pretty fast.
Ooh, I like it. A little call to arms.
Yeah, I think like all of these, like everyone being in like the same. I mean, I don't know. Like this sounds wrong because like I guess it like does help the region in general, but I feel like people would just be better if like the competitiveness just went up a lot, and I feel like it could, but I feel like everyone is just like too friendly now, and I don't know. I'm down for people to like. I know Sox disagrees, but I'm down for people to like be more like rats, and
Dishsoap rats, not sock rats.
I think this is how
more competitive.
I think this is how you stunt a region. Like, you know, I haven't been like releasing any guides and everything like that, but like you know, if I was, I feel like people would actually get better. I feel like I feel the opposite. I don't know. I just feel like when you tell people about XYZ, you know, they just start thinking about this more and they get better. And now I'm not talking about like because I'm not making content or anything like that. Now I'm not like making stuff like that's more analytical. Like people start being like, obviously not you specifically, like far from you, in fact. But like I'm talking about like the general public, as more defaulted to like. I just think
I feel like I'm not like even like immune from this because there's like definitely a word I don't make final lobby and then like NA just looks like completely doomed. And I feel like a big part of that is because we came in kind of thinking we were the best, which I feel like there's enough evidence to point that being probably true.
One thing I know for sure is that we've done the group chat for Worlds every single set for like since when was the first one, Dan? Set 6 or something? Set 4? Well, we've done it since that long. Jesus, we're old. Anyway, this is by far the least active that chat has ever been. I was stunned at how little you guys prepped together, communicated about ideas. I mean, it was like hundreds of times less engaged than we've seen in previous sets, and I think it does impact.
It's a turnaround time is part of it, Bryce, but
it definitely is. But I think it impacts for sure.
That's true.
Okay, not gonna lie, I kind of did that on purpose because I felt like I had like leaked too much stuff when I like VOD reviewed with Malala and Agreed last time.
That's fair.
So I wanted to keep more stuff to myself.
I mean, like for example, if Dishsoap and I did a single VOD review before final game, and I knew that Zoe didn't gunblade off healing because it would have come up because I built gunblade on Zoe every time. I would have gone 2 placements from that, right? And that 2 placements might have like propelled me to final lobby.
Sure.
But I mean, I do want to say for sure, like I definitely underestimated other regions. I mean, I thought they were bad.
I mean, I thought APAC like I mean, there's like chat logs of this. Like I spoke to like a few people about it. I thought APAC was like looked really really bad. Based off the scrims, and that's obviously
pretty bad.
Obviously wrong. Also, like one thing, it's kind of weird. Like the scrim group I was in had like I think every single person that wasn't CN was in the scrim group, and the scrim group was only like 20 people or like 24 people or something.
Interesting.
So that's like, isn't that like kind of crazy that like
Yeah.
five people from that scrim group go to final lobby?
That is wild. That is wild.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to at least double down on that and say that I also underestimated the rest of the regions. So for sure, like APAC for sure. And I mean, like,
It's humbling, but the APAC sent
It's
the
humbling
best
for
of the
sure.
best because you have to be, right? Like APAC is such a condensed. They got screwed harder than America's in terms of seeding, so it makes sense.
no,
that
but like,
all of
what
them-
I'm scared of, is that APAC didn't send the best of the best. They just sent like the average fucking challenger player.
No,
and
they
the
sent
fucking-
they sent some of their best players. Socks. Just
definitely
trust me
did.
on this one. Just trust me
I
on this
see.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
Well,
regardless,
I mean,
Yeah.
this might come off like a bit of projecting, because when I see like other people like Malala and Replay succeed like a lot, I'm obviously like happy for them. I don't hate it, but like I'm kind of like upset at myself that I can't do that, and I hope that other people see me winning and get motivation off of that. I don't necessarily want you to beat me, but I don't know. I know like for sure if I was like, because I feel like they have the same mindset. Like if I was Setsuko, if I was Weijin, if I was Replay, like they're seeing me watching Worlds, and I hope they like come back harder next up for
wait,
sure.
All right. I
what, bro?
love
What?
that.
Wait, there's no way. I mean, this is way too competitive. Like I see Dishsoap winning. I'm not jealous of Dishsoap. I'm really happy for it.
Yeah,
Like,
you're in a different life
like-
phase, man. You're in a different life phase. Your
for
priorities are
me
different.
or
You
Dish?
are.
You.
Wait, really? Because I feel like no, I'm competitive. I want to win, but or anything like that. But like let's just say I helped Dishsoap win, and like he qualified, and then because of he qualified, I couldn't qualify. I'm not like upset with things like that. I feel like that's to me that's a really really weird mindset. Like it's like ultra competitive, or to the point that I just don't really get it at that point. But maybe
But
I'm
that's
not
what it is.
understanding.
I think that's what it's going to take to succeed. I think the days of like people always being friends and open, like you're used to a smaller community, Socks, and I think now TFT is big enough where we do have these divides in ideologies, and I think that's interesting. I like the way you hold on to your opinion, and I want Dishop to hold on to his. And let's see we'll see what plays out in set 12, because that's what's coming up, July 31st. Book the date. That's basically a week from today.
Yep.
Speaking of booking, the Macau Open got announced as well, December 13th to 15th in 2024. Hope to see you guys there if you can make it out. The last one was really special. This one's probably going to be really different. It's going to be like not like an NA audience, so we'll see what the vibe is. But I really hope that we can kind of get more of that community vibe again. So make sure you guys, if you can, start saving now and start heading out. Also, the pro tip is apparently it's way cheaper to fly into Hong Kong and take a shuttle to Macau. You save thousands of dollars, and it's and you basically take like a 1 hour shuttle or something like that. So that's like the tech. So, and just like that, end of the episode. One of our longest ever. I mean, we had a lot of when we have Socks on. I know we're always like bound to get a really good one
buckle up,
because
baby.
Socks loves to insert a lot of these fun little anecdotes. Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts to wrap up this episode and this season. So we'll start off with Socks.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for having me. I really, I'm glad I was able to perform this season. And thank you guys for all the hard work you guys do. I personally watch all you guys' shows. I watch Don't Talk If You Don't Know when I'm doing dishes all the time. Like when I'm taking care of the kids, when I'm driving them, or like anytime I'm driving to work, I listen to your guys' podcasts. The one that you guys put, what's the other one?
Study
Something
Hall.
study hall. Yeah, I listen to the study hall as well. Just when I drive.
Thank you. A great
It's like
podcast.
15 minutes a day. I was listening to them. So I just want to put you guys are making good content. I know you're switching to full time as well. So like I'm happy you guys are able to keep doing it instead of like if Rona ended up taking like a full time job elsewhere, that'd be like a huge monumental loss for the TFT community.
Huge.
So I'm glad this is I mean we didn't W glaze Frodo enough because earlier Bryce
No need.
short.
We're out of juice. We're all out for tonight.
If we weren't running long, I'd throw an extra one here. But don't worry,
I see.
I'll sneak a Dan Glaze in
But yeah.
in a subsequent episode for sure.
Yeah, thanks
Save for the
thank you
Macau
for the hard
Open.
work. Thank you for the hard work. I will be at Macau. I haven't seen my family, Chinese family, in like 20 years, so I'll be there.
Awesome. Dish soap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same thing with Socks. I watch this podcast pretty much every single time, no matter what. And I'm glad I was able to make good on my promise because you actually asked me to show up for the pre-regional one, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to do it. And then I said, I'll promise you we can do one like after Worlds Copium, but it wasn't really, I guess. So I'm glad I was able to make good on that promise.
Yeah, you did. You made
Us
good on
too.
back-to-back promises, by the way, because you did also promise to show up big in set 12 in general, or TFT Academy, or set 11 rather.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of that, check out tftacademy.com.
Nice.
Set launching soon. So when the set launches, go check out the comps there. Also check out this TFT study hall. It's the other podcast I do with Frodan. Not really about the esports stuff, mostly just talking about the in-game.
Yeah,
And
we
the
yap
meta
about
and
the
stuff.
meta for like hours.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do video podcast this set.
Oh, true.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I ordered a bunch of like expensive camera equipment that I haven't set up yet, but
Nice.
yeah,
Awesome.
We'll get that done soon.
All right, and Bryce, bring us home, buddy.
Set 11 was not my favorite set of TFT, but it was a set of TFT, and I'll always remember is the time that Dishsoap won Worlds and made all of the doubters just eat their words. It was beautiful. So it was in the end some pretty fun tournaments to set. A lot of my favorite players did really well. I'm thrilled to have done this episode with the two of you guys, and for you guys to be 1-2. What a treat. So thanks for your guys' time in coming on and doing this. I know it was long, but it was an absolute blast. Dan, thanks to you as always, and can't wait for set 12.
Yep,
It's
set
the best
12's
set ever.
coming soon. If you missed any part of this episode, check out our stuff. YouTube.com/@DTIYDK, Anchor.fm/DTIYDK. That's where you can find all of our podcast stuff. We're trying to bring on other people to help out the show. I do think the show has such good content, but we kind of suck at marketing it. So I'm looking for people. I'm talking to a couple people, but if you're interested, reach out because I think the show is great. I wanted to get a little bit more legs and momentum. So look forward to that. See you in set 12. From Frodan, Bryce, Socks, and Dishsoap, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for more TFT action.